Chapter 737. Big Brother, wouldn't it be too much to get 5 federal coins for a random post? Hearing this, Feng Hatong hesitated for a moment. He felt that this number was not simple, because by simple calculation, if he posted 10,000 posts, wouldn't he be able to earn 5,000 federal coins? If he posted 1 million posts, he could earn 500,000 federal coins. If he posted 10 billion posts, he would need 5 billion. This number was simply an astronomical figure. It's okay. If the problem can be solved with money, then it's not a problem. I'll take out 10 billion and spend it however I want. Xiaoping felt that this was nothing. His auction was worth trillions. Wasn't it a matter of course to take out tens of billions for publicity? For him, this was simply a drop in the bucket. As expected of Big Brother, you're rich and imposing. Feng Hatong admired. He suddenly remembered that his big brother was not a poor ghost. His net worth was more than 1 trillion. A mere 10 billion federal coins was nothing to him. It was just a hair on his big brother's body. By the way, you need to find those trolls on the internet. They are people who have nothing to do all day and only know how to stay at home and scold people on the internet. They're the legendary professional trolls. I believe they are very willing to do this kind of thing. Moreover, their fighting power is extremely strong. They can scold the enemy until they doubt their life. Xiaoping pointed out to Feng Hatong. Feng Hatong was in awe. His big brother still understood the market. To be honest, he had been touched by these trolls. He was chased on the internet for more than 12 streets and scolded for a full 3 days and 3 nights. They even scolded him every few days and 5 days, as punctual as an alarm clock. These trolls usually had nothing to do. If he gave them money to post, they would probably be very willing to be recruited. Even if some people were self-righteous and not very willing, it was not a big deal. It was enough as long as most people agreed. What he needed was quantity, not quality. Take money to post. This was the first time she heard of this kind of thing. Since when could you get money for posting on the internet? This money was too easy to earn. However, she seriously thought about it. If tens of billions of posts appeared on the internet, how terrifying would that be? The word flooding a mountain of gold was not enough to describe that kind of horror. It was estimated that the entire internet world would be occupied by this group of trolls. Money was not omnipotent, but the power of real money was very terrifying. It was almost omnipotent. Not long after, the order was sent to every disciple in the Pingtian sect. This was the highest order from the Pingtian sect. No disciple was allowed to skimp on their work, or they would be expelled from the sect. The power of 100,000 disciples moving together was extremely terrifying. They all had a large family beside them, at least 100 people, and even small families had 12 people. And these family members had many relatives and friends who kept in touch with each other. Someone even joined a large chat group with thousands of people. In just a few hours, the Pingtian sect had mobilized almost 10 million people. They told them that they could receive money as long as they made a post. Moreover, the money could be distributed directly without any delay. It can't be. You can earn money just by posting? Is there such a good thing? F***CK. He's giving 50 cents for a post. Which tycoon is so generous? Such a good thing. I'd be a fool not to do it. This is simply a pie falling from the sky. Post it. Even if you're beaten to death, you have to post it. Leave it to us. I don't know anything, but I know how to scold people. It's not that I'm bragging, but as long as you give me a bottle of alcohol, I can scold them until they doubt their lives. Many people were stunned by this news. This was the first time they had heard that posting could earn money. For them, posting a post was a simple matter. It didn't take much effort at all. The work was simple, and they could earn money. They would be complete fools not to agree. At this moment, the entire online world was in an uproar. Various forums, and communication tools began to flood with posts. What a bully. Everyone, look at this beast of a hoodlum. How dare he do such a thing in broad daylight? Deranged. The former champion of the genius battle, Xiaoping, has become such a person. He uses his strength to commit all sorts of evil, bringing disaster everywhere and harming innocent people. Is no one going to do anything about it? Is this a regression of history, a loss of humanity, or a loss of morals? Why has Xiaoping, the champion of the sky demon battlefield, become like this? Has he been cursed, or has his true nature been exposed? A large number of posts with the same title were immediately posted. They described Xia Ping's capture of the demon race's geniuses and his plan to auction them. They also stated the time and place. There were even pictures of Tu Linglong and the other monsters. However, in order to make the publicity more effective and let more tycoons know about this matter, Xia Ping decided to change the time of the auction to 3 days later. F***CK, it's all a title. Liar. How is this bullying? Isn't this just capturing some demon battle servants? Although there are men and women among them, it's not like this at all. Well, there's nothing wrong with the title. People nowadays are always thinking of making a big news. I've already caught the editor of this news. Everyone, if you like it, I'll flick his dick. Flick it. My hand is fast. I've clicked more than 10 times in a second. Some people shouted that they had been deceived. They thought that there was finally a big piece of news, but they didn't expect such a thing to happen. It was said that Xia Ping had captured a few demon geniuses from the sky demon battlefield. Not only was this not a bad thing, but it was also a good thing. In fact, this was also encouraged by the Federation government. What a beast. Such a beautiful rabbit girl has been captured by that beast Xia Ping. I can't imagine what kind of treatment she will receive. Someone noticed Tu Linglong's existence. In fact, Tu Linglong was like a crane in a flock of chickens when she was with a group of fiendish monsters. She was like a goddess and immediately captured the hearts of many people. Oh my God, is this a girl from the rabbit race? You're so beautiful that I can't help but feel pity for you. It's over, it's all over. It's all over. How can she get any benefits from falling into the hands of that beast Xia Ping? She's definitely being toiled by that bastard day and night, doing shameless things all day. Didn't they say that these demon race geniuses were going to be auctioned? Why didn't the rabbit race's saintess appear? That guy already said that she's not for sale. He wants to capture her to warm his bed and make her his personal maid. Shameless. Even humans can't satisfy this beast. He's actually starting to stretch his hands into the demon race. Many people cried out in alarm. They were all grieved. Such a demon race's saintess had actually fallen into the hands of the famous Xia Ping. The odds were against her. This was because Xia Ping's reputation had started to stink in the Cloud Realm. Many people knew of his glorious deeds. Some people said that he achieved the 1,000 slaughter in high school. Chapter 738. Someone exclaimed, "What kind of auction is this? It's too ridiculous. The starting price is 300 billion federal coins. This is a robbery. It's even more expensive than gold." He saw some information about the auction. It would cost at least 300 billion to get a demon race genius, and that was only the starting price. If it was really auctioned, the price would probably be even higher. It was an astronomical figure. It's a bit high, but these are demon race geniuses with the potential to become kings. Buying a future king with a few 100 billion isn't a bad deal. T. Talent is just talent. There are many demons who are stuck in a bottleneck and can never break through. If they can't break through, is this kid going to refund the money? You can't say that. If there was a 100% guarantee, would the starting price be only 300 billion? It's possible to go up to 1 trillion. Since it's a business, there should be awareness of the risks. This is no different from gambling. It's still too ridiculous. How many people can afford to gamble? There are still many rich people in this world. There are many who can afford to gamble. Many people were shocked by the contents of the auction. They felt that it was simply a sky-high auction. The starting price was beyond everyone's imagination. It was unbelievable. The starting price alone was enough to stop 99% of the humans in the entire Cloud Realm from entering. However, the more it was so, the more interested the surrounding people became. As these posts continued to appear on major forums, and communication software, the discussion about Xia Ping's auction became more and more intense. The ranking rose crazily. It had already reached hundreds of millions of searches. This news spread to all parts of the Cloud Realm like a plague and kept growing. At this time, Hui Yongming and the other kings also heard the news from their subordinates. They would never have thought that the kid would have such a trick up his sleeve. He sent the internet water army to advertise and stir up the topic. Even if they wanted to delete the posts, there were hundreds of thousands or even millions of posts. They couldn't delete all of them. What's going on? Didn't I tell you to delete the posts? As soon as this so-called auction appeared, they immediately deleted it and blocked this topic from the internet. They couldn't afford to make any mistakes. But what was going on now? It actually became public opinion. Countless people started discussing it. Did they grow up eating sh*t? There's something wrong with their brains. They can't understand human language. Hui Yoming roared. He was furious on the spot and flew into a rage towards some of his subordinates. Right now, he was unable to restrain his anger. If the anger in his heart could condense in his substance, the entire city would probably be completely burned down. Originally, in order to suppress this auction and completely surround Xiaoping, they paid a huge price. But now, because of a moment of carelessness, all their efforts were wasted. Right now, he even wanted to kill someone. Lord Family Head, I'm sorry. It's not that we don't want to delete it, but there are simply too many posts. There are hundreds of thousands, even millions of them. We simply can't manage them all. The subordinate felt extremely wronged. This wasn't because they were incompetent, but because their opponent was simply too cunning. Excuses. All of them are excuses. Hui Yoming was furious. I don't care what methods you use. You must suppress this public opinion. Any topic discussed with Xiaoping must be immediately deleted. Completely deleted. No news must appear. You want hundreds of thousands or even millions of posts. What a joke. Delete them. Delete them all. Don't leave a single one. I'd rather kill 1,000 by mistake than let one go. I like to see them post faster, or we delete them faster. His expression was ferocious, and he planned to fight to the death with Xiaoping. Posting a post still required a certain amount of time, but deleting it didn't necessarily take that time. As long as some forbidden words appeared, they could immediately delete them manually. It was extremely efficient. In this world, destruction was always easier than construction. Yes, delete them all. He still wants to use this group of internet water army to spread the news. He's simply dreaming. That brat thinks of all sorts of crooked tricks all day long. He doesn't know how to do proper business. This time, we must completely shut him down and let him see how powerful we are. No matter how many people there are, in the face of absolute power, he's just a pile of sh*t. Barren mountains and unruly rivers produce unruly people. This damned, unruly person is actually starting to pester endlessly. We must not let him succeed. The group of king tiers gritted their teeth. It wasn't easy for them to unite and try to shut down this auction. But now, Xiaoping suddenly appeared and broke through the blockade. If this auction was really held successfully, then where would they hide their faces? Wouldn't this mean that even king tiers were nothing? If they couldn't even deal with a mere grandmaster, then who would be afraid of them? Yes, master. The group of subordinates immediately went to do it. They all entered the back end of the website and mobilized a large number of people to manually delete all the posts regarding the auction. Not a single one was left. In an instant, the entire internet was filled with wails and countless people died. Many posts regarding the auction were crazily deleted. Sometimes, the entire page of a certain forum disappeared. The people from Pingtian's sect began to feel a formless and terrifying power shrouding the internet world, creating a great pressure. This was the power of the king tiers. Even though they had put in a lot of effort, they were still as weak as infants in the face of the king tiers. Interesting. Xiaoping also knew about this. Not only was he not angry, but he even laughed. You want to use your power to delete the posts? Forget it. I want to see if you guys delete faster or if we post faster. You want to fight with me? What a joke. Isn't it just a matter of money? I have as much money as you want. Pass down the order. Mobilize 10 times the number of people and slaughter the forum. He gave the order. Yes. The people from Pingtian's sect shouted. All of them seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. The order was transmitted in all directions through the communication device. They were all posting crazily. There were tens of millions of people. If each of them posted a post, it would be tens of millions. If they posted 10 posts, it would be 100 million. These posts flooded the entire internet. It was like a flood that flooded all the websites and forums. At the same time, it also generated a huge amount of data. At the same time, they also deliberately put some forbidden words on the ordinary posts. As a result, it was a disaster for the fish in the pond. The administrators who deleted the posts subconsciously deleted these posts. As a result, this made the ordinary netizens furious. They also posted to condemn this behavior and express their dissatisfaction. Chapter 739. What's going on? Why is this happening? Isn't our company's server the best? The company's CEO's expression changed drastically because every second the company's server crashed would cause countless losses. This was simply unimaginable. There might even be customers who would sue them for compensation. If it's just posting, it doesn't matter how many you post. However, hackers are taking advantage of the situation and attacking our company's internal network in an attempt to obtain our company's internal information. An employee hurriedly said, "Internet companies like theirs had the most valuable internal information. Usually, they would be targeted by many hackers. However, they had the most powerful defense system and had always been well protected, preventing those hackers from succeeding. However, it was different today. There was suddenly such a large amount of traffic, causing the server to slow down for a moment. This was discovered by the hackers who had been watching the company. This was a rare opportunity. If they missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be another one. In the end, these hackers attacked the internet company crazily and started a cyber war, wanting to collapse the company's defense network. It could be said that Xiaoping's action had affected the entire company. Damn hackers! The company's CEO roared. How dare they take advantage of the situation? Stop them immediately. We definitely can't let them obtain our company's customer information. Otherwise, our company will be finished. We might even go bankrupt. He thought of many cases where some companies were attacked by hackers and planted viruses, causing all the customer information to be hijacked. If they wanted the information back, they would have to pay the hackers a large amount of money to avoid disaster. If they could spend a sum of money to solve this problem, they wouldn't have to worry so much. However, these hackers were simply jackals. After succeeding once, they would target you every time. They would constantly watch for the company's flaws until they emptied your wallet. Countless small companies have been forced to bankruptcy by hackers. This was a dark microcosm of the internet era. Why did this happen? Who is doing this? The group of company CEOs was helpless. This was a battle between gods, and the commoners suffered. They had originally thought that it was just a small matter to help a few kings delete their posts. After all, who would dare to go against a king? However, they didn't expect that someone really dared to directly explode with such great power, causing their company to suffer heavy losses. If regret medicine could be taken, they wouldn't have gotten involved in such a high-level battle, even if they were beaten to death. However, it was too late to say anything now. At this moment, within the Pingtian gate, "Boss, things are going very smoothly. Right now, our people are spreading the news on all the major forums, Tieba, and other places. I reckon that very soon, everyone will know about it," Feng Hatong said proudly. Moreover, some super hackers seem to be taking advantage of the situation and attacking those internet companies, causing them to temporarily lose their administrative rights. Now, it's impossible to delete the posts even if they want to. He didn't expect something like this to happen. He didn't expect so many allies to help him. It was a pleasant surprise. Very good. Xiaoping was very satisfied. He couldn't be bothered to care about the life and death of those internet companies. They actually dared to help those kings and help the tyrants. Even if they died 100 times, it wouldn't be a pity. As for them being attacked by hackers, it had nothing to do with him. He was just providing an opportunity. Big brother. Feng Hatong's heart skipped a beat. Why don't we take this opportunity to teach the Hua family a lesson? They actually dared to openly deal with Big Brother. They've gone too far. If we don't destroy the Hua family, they won't know that our Pingtian gate has a temper. Xiaoping blinked his eyes. Interesting. How do you want to teach that guy a lesson? Feng Hatong said, according to the investigation, the Hua family is the owner of the largest fast food restaurant in the Cloud Realm, the Hua's fast food restaurant. They have tens of thousands of branches, and their assets are over $1 trillion. They are distributed in all the major cities in the Cloud Realm. They're very rich. Every year, they pay an astronomical amount of taxes, and their profit margin is also very shocking. This is also the Hua family's most important money-making machine. If this company goes bankrupt, the Hua family will probably suffer a great loss. Xiaoping touched his chin. I see. You want to deal with the Hua family's fast food restaurant. That's for sure. Feng Hetong revealed a sinister expression. As a fast food restaurant, the most important thing is the safety of the food. If there's a problem with their food, I'm afraid that all the chain stores will be greatly affected. I see. If we start a rumor that there's a problem with the Hua's fast food restaurant and it might be poisoned, even if it's just a rumor, the Hua family will suffer a great loss. No customers will come again at all. Xiaoping said with a smile. He understood what Feng Hetong meant. Despicable. Su Ji, who was next to him, suddenly opened her beautiful eyes wide. She didn't think that these two bastards would actually discuss a rumor and try to destroy a king family's business empire. They were too audacious. Tu Linglong was so scared that her face turned pale. Humans were really too scary. They even dared to plot against the king. In the Thousand Monster Mountain, which idiot would dare to plot against a king? Were they not afraid of death? As the saying goes, it's better to break one finger than to injure 5 fingers. If we don't hurt them, they will think that our Pingtian sect is easy to bully. They dare to bully Big Brother, which is the same as bullying us. If they don't die, who will? Feng Hetong looked like a loyal lackey. Very good. Xiaoping was very satisfied. He was also not worried about the king's revenge. After he bought a super warship, if the king dared to come looking for trouble, he would blast them to death. So what if they were from the King Hua family? They actually dared to stand out and run in front of him, talking nonsense, pointing fingers, and thinking that he was the boss. If he didn't teach them a lesson, they would really think that Xiaoping didn't have a temper. Of course, Big Brother, we're not making a rumor. We have evidence. Feng Hetong revealed a righteous expression. Our Pingtian sect has a disciple who used to be a waiter at the Hua's fast food restaurant. He was also a buyer, so he knows a lot of inside information about the Hua's fast food restaurant. The reason why their fast food restaurant profit margin is so high is because they cut corners short on weight and sell shoddy food as quality. This fast food restaurant claims to have natural ingredients and green food. In fact, all of them are artificially bred. Moreover, they're injected with hormones to create them. For example, their famous was roast chicken. This chicken can grow from an egg to a mature stage in 3 days using genetic engineering technology. This greatly reduces their growth period and allows them to be mass-produced. Chapter 740. What? Hearing this, Su Ji was furious. They actually dared to do this. This is too much. They would do something as stupid as this for money. Why didn't anyone expose them? She trembled when she heard this. She had eaten at the Hua family's fast food restaurant before. When she thought about how all the food there was junk food, she felt disgusted and wanted to vomit. This has been known for a long time, Feng Hetong said. However, the Hua family is a sovereign family. They are extremely powerful and have people in the government, so they can pass the hygiene inspection very quickly. Even if someone wanted to report them, the Hua family would quickly capture them and destroy the world. As time passed, no one dared to expose the Hua family's fast food restaurant anymore. As for the other sovereign families, they probably have some kind of relationship with the Hua family, so they turned a blind eye to it. People won't die from eating this food anyway. He explained it this way. Bullsh asterisk T. Su Ji was instantly furious. People won't die from eating food? Does that mean people can do anything if they don't die? Nothing happens now, but it doesn't mean nothing will happen in the future. When something really big happens, we'll be completely finished. The Hua family did such immoral things for some money. They should be punished. She didn't expect the Grand Hua family to do such dirty things. However, in reality, it was precisely because the Hua family was an ordinary sovereign family that they were at the bottom, even among the other sovereigns. They couldn't compare to the invincible sovereigns at all. Therefore, they could only use this kind of method to earn money. A true invincible sovereign could casually excavate a ruin and earn an astronomical amount of money. There is no need for them to use this kind of method. Do you have evidence? Xiaoping asked. Feng Hetong nodded. Of course. Previously, the Pingtian sect disciple had a conflict with the owner of the Hua family's fast food restaurant. The Hua family purposely took 3 months of his salary. As a result, the owner became angry. He secretly brought a miniature camera and recorded their entire production process. He even recorded a copy of their purchase list. The evidence is conclusive. They can't deny it. Before, some people were afraid of the Hua family's power, so no one dared to report them. However, it's different now. Many internet companies are under a lot of pressure. They definitely can't continue deleting posts. When this matter completely ferments, the Hua family will be dreaming if they want to cover it up. He was very sure. If that's the case, then we can directly short his company and take the opportunity to make a lot of money. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a cold light, wanting to take advantage of the situation. Shorting Hua's fast food restaurant. Suji immediately felt that Xiaoping's move was too ruthless. First, he released these unfavorable news, and then he shorted the company's stock. If he succeeded, he would certainly make a lot of money. By that time, the Hua's fast food restaurant stock price would plummet to zero, and they might even declare bankruptcy. They wanted to trample the Hua family to death. Brilliant, as expected of Big Brother. You are indeed a cunning old fox. Feng Hetong was very impressed. He just wanted to teach the Hua family a lesson, but he didn't expect them to think of ways to profit from it. What did you say? Xiaoping squinted at him. Feng Hetong immediately quivered and said, No. I'm talking about Big Brother's strategizing and deciding victory from 1,000 miles away. In terms of intelligence, he can crush that group of stubborn old fogies. Xiaoping nodded, very satisfied. That's good. Immediately gather all the information about the Hua's fast food restaurant, and then explode it all. I want the Hua family to have chicken feathers and duck blood this time. So what if they are a king family? If I don't make them suffer this time, I will change my surname to theirs. His eyes revealed a frightening cold light, filled with murderous intent. Another day passed. Xiaoping immediately shorted Hua's fast food restaurant stock on the stock market, buying as much as he could. He had no intention of hiding his intentions. As a result, this unscrupulous shorting caused the Hua's fast food restaurant stock price to plummet by 10%, causing a huge shock. Who is it? How dare you short our Hua's fast food restaurant stock? Are you tired of living? Do you know that our Hua family's ancestor is a king? A Hua family elder roared. His face changed. He was in charge of the company, so of course he knew that there was a huge fluctuation in the company's stock price. It was obvious that someone was planning to short the company and destroy them. Because a company's stock price fluctuated by more than 3%, it was considered a big drop. Now that it had fallen by 10%, it could be considered a huge drop. For a $1 trillion company, what did a 10% drop mean? It was like losing hundreds of billions in an instant. Many people who had bought the company's stock were dumbfounded, not knowing what was going on. I found it. The person who is shorting our company's stock is a person called Xiaoping. He has mobilized hundreds of billions of funds. A senior executive immediately found out who was shorting the company's stock from various channels. His face solemn. What? His name is Xiaoping. The Hua family elder's pupils shrank. Of course, he knew that his ancestor had a conflict with Xiaoping not long ago, wanting to steal the demon race's geniuses from him. However, the negotiation failed, so his ancestor was furious and wanted to blacklist Xiaoping. Who would have thought that this son of a bitch would be so daring as to go against the Hua family's company and even want to short the company's stock? He was too arrogant. Boss, what should we do now? Our company's stock is still falling, and it will continue to fall, a senior executive said in a panic, because the Cloud World stock price had no limit. If some stocks encountered a black swan, it was possible for them to fall by 90% in an instant. Buy it immediately. The Hua family elder was furious. He actually wants to short our company's stock. He must be tired of living. If he wants to go bankrupt, I will fulfill his wish. Immediately pull up the stock price. I want to lose this son of a bitch. Shorting was like this. When the stock price fell, you would make money, but when it rose, you would lose money. Yes, the senior executive immediately said. The Hua family's people immediately took action, mobilizing a large amount of the company's internal liquidity to buy back those shares. They bought them back like crazy, temporarily stabilizing the price. It even rose a little more than before the market opened. Seeing this, the whole family elder was very proud. This son of a bitch is going to lose money. He wants to fight us with just this bastard? He doesn't even know how to spell the word death. Continue to pull up the stock price. Didn't he want to short our company's stock? Let's see how much money he has to short. This time, I will make him go bankrupt. Chapter 741. Soon, Hui Yongming, the head of the Hui family, also knew about this. He was furious when he heard it. A mere grandmaster dared to be so disrespectful to a king. He even dared to go against the king family. He was too arrogant. Call that kid immediately. I want to ask him what he means. Is he planning to become an enemy of the Hui family by shorting our company's stock? Hui Yongming sneered. An elder wanted to call Xiaoping immediately, but there was a busy tone. He had a strange expression on his face. Head, this kid blacklisted your number. What? Hui Yongming's face turned green. As a king, he had great power. Countless people tried to curry favor with him. It was the other party's honor to call him. But this damned B*TCH actually dared to put his phone number into the blacklist. This was no longer something that could be described as audacious. It was simply arrogant. I changed my number. Keep calling. Hui Yongming's face was as black as coal. He had lived for so many years, and this was the first time he felt so angry. This time, the call went through. Xiaoping's voice came from the communicator. Who is it? Which son of a B*TCH is calling? If it's a scam, I'll kill you. It's me, Hui Yongming. Hui Yongming suppressed his anger. Xiaoping was surprised. Hui Yongming, didn't I put your number on the blacklist? Why are you calling? He was indeed blacklisted. Hui Yongming wanted to rush over and beat this arrogant kid up. He even dared to blacklist the king's number. This was too much. It was like a governor calling an ordinary person, but the ordinary person blacklisted the governor. What kind of behavior was this? But he still endured it. Who asked him to stay in Yanhuang University? That was a forbidden place. Even a king couldn't trespass. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Hui Yongming said straightforwardly. What do you mean by shorting my company's stock today? You didn't even tell me. What are you trying to do? He was here to denounce him. Nothing. I just want to make some money. Xiaoping was very direct. His goal was also very simple. He wanted to make money. Hui Yongming sneered. You want to make money? My Hui family's financial situation is good, and we have high profit margins. How can you just short us whenever you want? If you don't want to continue losing money, then scram immediately. Otherwise, when the Hui family mobilizes its full power, you'll go bankrupt. No one will be able to save you. He warned Xiaoping fiercely. Oh, then I'll wait for you to make me bankrupt. Xiaoping didn't want to talk nonsense and just wanted to hang up. Wait, what do you mean? Do you want to continue fighting against my Hui family? Hui Yongming frowned. He could feel that this kid had a well-thought-out plan and was confident that he could bring down the Hui family's company. In fact, it was precisely because he was aware of this that he specifically called to try and stop this kid from continuing to increase the losses of the Hui family's company. Go against the Hui family? No, it's you, Hui Yongming, who wants to fight against me. Xiaoping said coldly. You were just blabbering nonsense in front of me, trying to use your power to suppress me. Although I don't know how you became a demon's lackey. Do you think that you won't pay the price? I can tell you this. It's impossible. This time, if I don't cut a piece of your Hui family's flesh, I won't let it go. He directly expressed his attitude, making it clear that he wanted to take revenge. It was never too late for a gentleman to take revenge, but a villain could take revenge anytime. He, Xiaoping, was no gentleman. If someone dared to bite him, he would bite back. He would not be polite. You still want to cut a piece of my Hui family's flesh? Hui Yongming was so angry that he laughed. I want to see how you cut a piece of my Hui family's flesh. I was kind enough to remind you not to go bankrupt, but it's too late now. This time, I'll make you pay until not even a hair is left. With a smack, he immediately hung up the phone, feeling endless anger. Then, he roared at some elders, Go, use all the Hui family's resources. This brat still wants to bite a piece of my Hui family's flesh. What a joke. This time, I'll crush all his teeth, and not even a hair will be eaten by him. A mere grandmaster dared to point fingers at a king family and threaten them. He was simply tired of living. Did he really think that the Hua family did not have any means to deal with this brat? Hui Yongming clenched his fists. Therefore, a large amount of the Hua family's funds poured in, continuously pulling up the Hua family stock price. At the same time, a large amount of short funds came in, continuously pulling down the stock price. In the end, the power of both sides was balanced. The trading volume rose steadily, and the price remained at the opening price. And just when the surrounding people thought that this situation would continue to be deadlocked, earth-shattering news immediately broke out on the internet. Risking death to reveal secret. Hua's fast food restaurant uses waste oil. Heartless. Hua's fast food restaurant uses problematic chicken to make money. Former Hua's fast food restaurant employee found his conscience and bitterly complained about the Hua's dark cuisine. Shocking, none of the Hua's fast food restaurant's food is clean. Their kitchen stinks worse than the sewers. Because of eating Hua's fast food for a long time, some people got cancer and their lives were shortened. Patients can't get compensation. At this time, news after news broke out and spread throughout the entire cloud realm. At the same time, there were many sensational pictures and even videos as evidence, which proved that all the news was true and not fake. Oh my God, is it true? Hua's fast food restaurant actually dares to use such problematic oil? You're a big company. How can you be so heartless just to make money? They used to boast that all their ingredients are green and natural, but now they're all artificially bred and have no nutrition at all. They're all problematic chickens injected with genetic hormones. No wonder I had a stomachache after eating at the Hua's fast food restaurant and had to go to the hospital for surgery. I didn't expect that it was all because of this black-hearted fast food restaurant. We must punish this black-hearted fast food restaurant severely. It's simply a cancer of the cloud realm. I can't imagine how much junk food I've eaten. What is the government doing? Why does it allow such a heartless company to exist? Are those health inspection departments all grown up eating sh*t? They've been inspecting all day, but they can't find a single problem. Needless to say, they must have been bribed. They turned a blind eye when they came to inspect the hygiene. Anyway, as long as there's no problem, they won't care and just muddle along. If this matter didn't break out, would I have to eat this junk food for the rest of my life? How many people does this Hua's fast food restaurant want to kill? Do they have any conscience? Are they willing to do anything to make money? Chapter 742. The overwhelming scandal of the Hua family on the internet also quickly reached the ears of the Hua family's big shots. Who is it? Which son of TCH did it? Hui Yongming, the head of the Hua family, roared. How dare they spread rumors about the Hua family? Do they want to die? Investigate. Find out who the hell did this to me. He was enraged, incomparably angry. That's right. Do you think people with ulterior motives can touch the Hua family? Find out which arrogant fellow is it. Immediately send people to kill him and exterminate his entire family. They want to fight the Hua family to the death. They don't even know how to write the word death. We must kill them to scare the monkeys. The elders of the Hua family gritted their teeth in anger. Everyone knew that the Hua family's fast food restaurant was the foundation of the Hua family. It controlled the entire family's economy. If it collapsed, it would definitely be greatly affected. But now, someone dared to spread rumors about the Hua family's fast food restaurant. Wasn't this trying to destroy the Hua family? It would be strange if they weren't furious. I found out. The ones who spread the rumors are Ping Tian sect. The boss behind them is that damn Xiaoping. A subordinate immediately came forward and received the news. What? That damn Xiaoping again. He shorted our stock before, and now he's spreading rumors about the Hua family. He's clearly plotting against us. An elder clenched his teeth. A mere grandmaster dares to go against a king family? How can he be so daring? Why not? He even captured a few descendants of the demon kings and auctioned them off in public. There's nothing he doesn't dare to do. Is there any way to punish him? This guy is a sh*t stir. He messes around all day and affects the unity of the family. There's nothing we can do. He's an important target of the giant company. Many kings want to protect him. If it's done openly, they might close one eye. But if it's done in the dark, even to the point of harming someone's life, they definitely won't sit idly by. Are we just going to watch this little bastard cause trouble for the whole family? When did the whole family fall to this state? I've long said that kid is not to be trifled with. He's famous for being a thorn in our side. Now, offending that kid is like offending a mad dog that bites at our weak spots. Shut up. If you dare to question the patriarch's decision, I'll slap you. The group of elders of the Hua clan were discussing fervently. Some of them wanted to deal with Xiaoping directly, making him disappear from this world. However, Xiaoping was someone from a giant company, and the Hua clan couldn't afford to offend him. Moreover, the other party was at Yanwan University. Even if they wanted to send someone to assassinate him, it would be impossible. If it was that simple, the group of Demon Kings would have sent people to kill Xiaoping long ago. How could it be their turn? Hua Yoming's expression was extremely gloomy. Previously, that brat was still spouting nonsense, saying that he wanted to destroy the Hua family. He didn't believe him, but now that he saw this thunderous method, it really seemed like the Hua family was going to collapse. Now, he was a little regretful. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have come out personally. Was it worth it to offend such a cruel thorn for such a small benefit? But it was too late now. Is there any way to delete all the negative news and completely clean it up? Hua Yoming asked in a low voice. A subordinate said awkwardly, "We can't. The internal network of those internet companies was attacked by hackers, and the database can't be restored in a short time. We temporarily lost control. It will take 24 hours to get the authority to delete those posts." He indicated that this was very difficult. Bulsh *T, an elder of the Hua clan, said angrily, "If we wait 24 hours, this public opinion will have already spread. At that time, the public will be furious. Is there any use in deleting the posts? Can we still cover it up?" The subordinates were also extremely sullen. Even if they were angry at them, it would be useless. After all, this was an unexpected incident, and it was very difficult to find a solution in a short time. Oh no! Suddenly, a subordinate in the distance received a phone call, and his expression changed. "Lord Patriarch, many health bureaus in the Cloud Realm have been sent out to investigate the hygiene of our company's restaurants. They've all come to seize them." What? Many of the Hua clan's elders' expressions changed. As the saying goes, hit the snake where it hurts. Public opinion was just public opinion. No matter how big the noise was, it couldn't hurt the Hua clan at all. But the health bureaus were a fatal blow. If they didn't deal with it properly, they would really collapse. "What's going on?" An elder shouted. "What's wrong with those health bureau people? We usually give them so much money just to cover up their crimes. Now, we haven't even fed them enough. Why didn't they tell us when they came to investigate us?" Usually, in order to maintain local relations, they would give money from time to time to eat with those officials. They didn't expect that group of people to betray them at such a critical moment. Ingrates, they're all ingrates. They've given so much money, but they've all been fed to dogs. Not a single one of them is reliable at the critical moment. An elder said angrily. "Don't people trust each other at all?" Someone asked, "What's going on? Didn't they hear anything when they came to investigate us?" It said that a high-ranking federal official brought his family to eat at the Hua clan's fast food restaurant. They ended up getting food poisoning and were hospitalized. At first, he thought that he was unlucky and might have eaten something unclean elsewhere, the subordinate said helplessly. But today, when he saw the news on the internet, he suddenly became furious. He thought that the Hua clan's restaurant had harmed them, so he ordered a thorough investigation of the Hua clan's fast food restaurant. He even said that if the director didn't dare to investigate, he would replace him. So, those who took our money didn't dare to say anything. They were afraid that they would be exposed and arrested. He said that there was nothing he could do. How could this be? Hearing this, the Hua family elders felt like they were going to faint. As the saying goes, if you always walk by the river, you'll get your shoes wet. Nothing happened for so long, so they thought that they would be safe for the rest of their lives. But there was always a time when something happened. Once something happened, everything was over. In fact, even if this incident didn't happen, the Health Bureau would investigate them sooner or later. Once the public opinion was completely fermented, they would be finished. Now that this happened, It was only a matter of time before the Health Bureau would investigate them. Xiaoping, with a bang, Hui Yongming slapped a black pear table in front of him. Immediately, a terrifying force exploded, and the table, which was as hard as steel, was smashed into pieces. The terrifying force even spread to the ground, creating a deep pit with a diameter of several meters. The surrounding rocks were shattered into powder, and the entire room shook as if there was a magnitude 7 earthquake. Chapter 743. The next day, the Health Bureau closed down the Hua family's fast food restaurant. The news spread like wildfire all over the cloud world. Countless ordinary people were shocked and stunned. Damn it! The Hua family's fast food restaurant is so wicked. They made us eat this. It's not food. It's obviously feces. I heard that people won't die from eating it. Die my ass. You won't die from eating feces. Do you want to eat it? Punish the Hua family's fast food restaurant and close it down. The crowd was furious. They demanded that the fast food restaurant be severely punished and that all the people in charge be imprisoned for decades. They even had to compensate the consumers for their losses. The stock market was also the most sensitive market. Although the Health Bureau hadn't issued an order to close it down, the people who invested in the market had already noticed it. When the market opened that morning, the Hua family's stock price plummeted by 30%. As the bad news spread, countless individual investors panicked and fled. This accelerated the decline of the stock price. When the market closed, it had fallen by 80%. It could be said that 80% of the Hua family's market value had evaporated in one day. It was a heavy loss. Countless children of the Hua family were wailing. They hadn't suffered such a big loss in the past decades. Xiaoping also took the opportunity to settle the short sale income. He made a total of 500 billion federal coins. Not only did he make up for his losses, but he also made a lot of money. All of this was from cutting off the Hua family's flesh. Family head, that bastard Xiaoping made 500 billion from us. 500 billion. He's cutting off our flesh and eating our bones. An elder of the Hua family said angrily. The Hua family's miserable situation showed how fat Xiaoping was. He had made a lot of money from the people, but all of it was from them. Family head, you must make that shameless bastard pay the price for making the Hua family so miserable. An elder gritted his teeth. If he saw Xiaoping here, he would bite him like a mad dog. He wasn't the only one who thought so. All the elders of the Hua family had the same thought. They wanted to skin Xiaoping alive. Xiaoping, just you wait. The Hua family will not rest until you die. Hui Yongming clenched his fists. His veins were bulging, and his heart was bleeding. He didn't know how painful it was to lose so much money for nothing. Most importantly, the Hua family's most important source of income had been cut off by this swindler. As the saying goes, cutting off one's path to wealth is like killing one's parents. One can imagine their anger. At this moment, in the headquarters of the Pingtian sect, Big brother, we've won a complete victory this time. This time, the Hua family will be crying for their parents. I bet they won't dare to be arrogant anymore. Feng Hetong was proud of himself. Even if you beat him to death, he would never have thought that he could make a king family suffer such heavy losses. This was something he could never have dreamed of when he was on Yanwang Star. Well said. Everyone has worked hard this time. Later, I will treat everyone to a meal to express my gratitude. Xiaoping said carelessly, indicating that he would treat everyone to a meal. Stingy, why are you so stingy? Hearing this, Su Ji looked at Xiaoping with contempt. You earned 500 billion federal coins, but you only treated everyone to a meal. Why can't you be a little more stingy? She despised Xiaoping's character very much. Obviously, everyone had put in so much effort, but this shameless bastard casually treated them to a meal and sent them away. She had never seen such a stingy person. At the very least, he would give them a big red packet to celebrate. It's not that I can't take the money, but if I give it, will anyone dare to take it? Xiaoping said with a smile. Feng Hetong and the others were very guilty. They knew where this money came from. It was all from the Hua family. If someone dared to take this money, they would be an enemy of the Hua family. Thinking about this, they felt a chill all over their bodies. If they were regarded as enemies by the King family, they would not be able to live in peace for the rest of their lives. This was not money, but explosives that could be detonated at any time. Only a ruthless person like Xia Ping would not care about offending the Hua family. If he dared to use the Hua family's money to swagger through the market, others would have to think twice. Full of nonsense. Su Ji did not think that this was the case. It was definitely because this guy was very stingy. He said it was because he was worried about the Hua family's revenge. He was really worried. Why wasn't he worried before doing this? But after succeeding, he was worried. Was there such a reason? All right, I admit it. The reason why I'm not willing to give so much money is because I need to accumulate the dowry for marrying you. Otherwise, how can I go to the Su family to propose? Xiaoping admitted that he indeed had an ulterior motive. Bullshit. Who wants your dowry? Su Ji was so angry that her face turned red. This guy already had ideas about her, but he still wanted to go to the Su family to propose. His intentions were sinister. Hearing this, Feng Hetong suddenly realized, brilliant, truly brilliant. As expected of Big Brother, if you marry the Su family's daughter, in the future, Big Brother will be the Su family's son-in-law. With the Su family's protection and backing, a mere Hua family is nothing. It can't even be compared to a strand of the Su family's leg hair. The other lackeys also looked at Xia Ping with incomparable admiration. They reckoned that this 500 billion was used as an investment. If it was used as a betrothal gift to the Su family, it would probably make the Su family dizzy. Moreover, with the King's Su family as his backing, in the future, he would be able to walk sideways in the Cloud Realm. What's more, he would be able to marry a super beauty. No matter how they looked at it, this was a profitable business. Big Brother was indeed Big Brother. He had great foresight. Just his mind alone was not something that they, the lackeys, could figure out. First of all, in terms of realm, they were not on the same level. Xiao Ping proudly said, "Isn't that so? In the future, if you cause any trouble, just look for the Su family. Whoever dares to provoke me, I will cut them to death." He indicated that after becoming the Su family's son-in-law, he would use the Su family's power to act like a tyrant and eat, drink, and fish. Shameless. Su Ji was half dead with anger. If this rogue really relied on the Su family, wouldn't the Su family be in big trouble in the future? She didn't know how many times she had to clean up this bastard's mess. Perhaps because this shameless Xia Ping offended too many people, the big Su family was finally brought down. How could he be a son-in-law? He was more like a maggot who specialized in sucking the Su family's blood. Now his wild ambition was exposed, and he still wanted to eat and drink in the Su family. Sister-in-law. So that's how it is. With sister-in-law's protection, what do we have to be afraid of? In the future, we will follow Big Brother and sister-in-law to eat and drink, act like a tyrant, and bring disaster to the village. I hope Big Brother and sister-in-law can get married soon and have a son soon. A group of Ping Tian's sect's disciples went up to flatter and flatter. Chapter 744. At this time, in a dark castle somewhere in the cloud world, there were many skeletons, zombies, ghosts, and other dark creatures. The surrounding area was filled with a gloomy aura. A human king lived here. His name was Peng Dong. A servant came to report that someone was holding an auction for the geniuses of the demon race. What did you say? Hearing this, Peng Dong's eyes brightened. A crow of misfortune is being auctioned, and one with an extremely thick bloodline. This is a genius of the demon race. They usually live in 1,000 Monster Mountain and have no chance of getting one. I didn't expect to be captured and auctioned. Interesting. Yes, master, but the price is very high. The starting price is 300 billion federal coins, the servant reported. He felt that the price was too high. Peng Dong's expression didn't change at all. To kings, especially powerful kings, a mere 300 billion federal coins wasn't much and wasn't worth mentioning. It was just that the treasure was not worth the price. The crow of misfortune has many mysteries of death. Legend has it that they are a race from hell. If I can capture and dissect them, I will definitely benefit greatly. This will help me on my path to becoming a king. His eyes flickered, and he immediately made up his mind to bid. It was not easy to come across a situation like this where he could openly obtain a genius of the demon clan. If he missed this opportunity, he did not know how long he would have to wait. Moreover, This was beneficial to his cultivation. He could not miss it. In a huge dark cave, there were many dark tunnels. A large number of demon mosquitoes appeared here. This was where the demon mosquito race lived. Each demon mosquito was the size of a fist. Some were even the size of a human. They had a terrifying blood-sucking ability. Once they got close to the enemy, they would instantly suck the enemy's blood dry and turn them into a dried corpse. Moreover, there were many of them. Thousands of them could appear at any time. It was a disaster. At this time, a mosquito king lived in the depths of the cave. It was the size of a small mountain and was completely black. It emitted a dark and oppressive aura that made people tremble. Mosquito King, the genius of the spider race, seems to have been captured by a human and is being auctioned on the human network. A subordinate reported this to the Mosquito King. It knew that the Mosquito King was very interested in many news. The genius of the venomous spider race has been captured. Hearing this, the Mosquito King laughed ferociously. Good catch. Back then, the spider race treated us as food and killed countless demon mosquitoes. Even my grandfather was eaten alive by the Spider King. This hatred is irreconcilable. Now, there's actually a venomous spider genius being auctioned. This is an extremely rare opportunity. I have to win it. I want to capture it and torture it to pay homage to my grandfather's spirit in heaven. A cold glint appeared in its eyes. Venomous spiders were also a tyrannical race in the Thousand Goblin Mountain. Even if it wanted to take revenge, it was impossible. Many goblin kings would not allow it to take action, so it could only endure. However, now that there was a chance to obtain the descendant of the hypervenomous spider, a heavenly genius, it definitely wouldn't let this opportunity go. It was going to buy him, capture him, torture him, and take revenge. Deep in the endless sea, there was a palace on the seabed where many races lived. These races were called the sea monsters. They had different forms and kinds. These sea monsters weren't from the land goblin race. They were completely different. Usually, they didn't interact with each other. Even before humans came, they would fight with the land goblin race from time to time, resulting in countless casualties. The master of this palace was the Goblin King who ruled over a part of the sea, the Sea Shark King. King, a sea monster reported, recently, something big happened in the human world. Someone captured a few goblin heavenly geniuses and auctioned them. Even though the price is high, many people want to participate. He told the Sea Shark King everything that had happened recently in full detail. What? Even the three-eyed giant race's heavenly geniuses were captured. Hearing this, the Sea Shark King was shocked. Very quickly, his eyes flashed, revealing all sorts of calculations. Right, this is indeed a good opportunity. The three-eyed giant race is a special race. Their third eye has all sorts of abilities. If we can dig out their third eye and use a secret technique to solidify it, we can make a secret treasure. Normally, capturing a three-eyed giant, an outstanding three-eyed giant at that, would be more difficult than ascending to the heavens. But now, things are different. Auction. We'll participate in the auction too. He was very excited, feeling that this was a great opportunity. King, there are many people participating in the auction this time. I'm afraid the price will be sky high, a sea monster reminded. The Sea Shark King sneered. That's nothing. In terms of wealth, who can compare to us undersea races? We have countless treasures. Any one of them can smash those poor people to death. It revealed a look of wealth and arrogance. In fact, the undersea demon kings were famous for their wealth. After all, the undersea world itself was a huge treasure trove. One could easily obtain a large number of treasures. Other than that, many kings also knew about this. Blackwater explosive bear? My granddaughter seems to want such a bear as a pet. Also, it has the potential to become a goblin king. This is a good birthday gift. The metal tiger is not bad. It has the ability to swallow countless metals in the world. It has endless potential. If we can tame it, it will be a great help in the future. I like the one-horned thunderbolt. It can be a mount. It's gentle and easy to tame. The metal tiger is different. It's ambitious and hard to tame. Even if we buy it, it won't submit. That's not necessarily true. I have a special taming method. Even if it's wild, it will be tamed quickly. But the juniors these days are really incredible. Even the demon race's geniuses are captured and auctioned. This is unheard of. It's too exaggerated. Maybe we'll get to know him. As long as he doesn't die, that kid will definitely become something great. Around the world, countless kings knew that Xia Ping was going to hold an auction. They all had different goals. They wanted to buy these demon race's geniuses. However, to Xia Ping, he didn't care what they wanted. As long as he had enough money, nothing was a problem. Another 2 days passed, and it was time for the auction. On this day, Xia Ping held an auction on the online store and broadcast it live. Chapter 745. Countless people had gathered on the live broadcast platform. The number of people watching had already exceeded 100 million. My God, this is the highest number of people in history. It's already exceeded 100 million. This is unprecedented. Even the most popular female celebrity in the cloud realm can't compare to this. It can't be helped. This is an auction for the geniuses of the Yao clan. If we miss this opportunity, there won't be another one. Indeed, this is too rare. It might not happen even once in 10 years. When will the auction start? Why haven't I seen him yet? Soon. There's still a few more minutes. No, he's out. That kid's already out. Countless people in the live broadcast room were anxiously waiting for Xia Ping to come out. They couldn't wait to see the auction start. The liveliness was comparable to returning home for the new year. Whoosh! Xia Ping's figure soon appeared on the live broadcast platform. Countless kings' gazes immediately focused on this kid. They wanted to see what kind of superhuman abilities this guy had. Many Yao kings in the Thousand Monster Mountain were gnashing their teeth. They wanted to tear this human into pieces. It was because of this guy that the Yao clan had suffered such great humiliation. Hello, everyone. Xia Ping greeted them. It's an honor for everyone to come to this auction. I believe this auction will be worth it. You won't be disappointed. Hearing this, someone immediately shouted, "Kid, your starting price is too high. It's at least 300 billion federal coins. Who can afford it? Why don't you lower the price? Otherwise, I'm afraid this auction won't be sold." He hoped that Xia Ping would lower the price. Scram! Xia Ping was not polite at all. Don't talk here if you don't have money. Do you think this place is for the poor? You can't afford it, but some people can. Even if it really isn't sold, it doesn't matter. Anyway, with the geniuses of the Yao clan as battle servants, I won't lose anything. He was confident, even if it really wasn't sold. So what if no one was willing to bid? He could keep the geniuses of the Yao clan by his side. There would also be super fighters. Damn it! Many Yao kings clenched their teeth in anger. Their plan to scare Xia Ping had failed. He didn't care at all whether the auction would be successful or not. Even if it failed, he wouldn't care. If he could sell it, he would be lucky. If he couldn't sell it, he would keep it by his side. This kid wouldn't lose anything. All right, enough with the nonsense. Xia Ping went straight to the point. Today, the first demon race heavens chosen is the Crow of Misfortune. I don't need to say more about its preciousness. It has a noble bloodline, and legend has it that it came from hell. It is not inferior to any divine beast bloodline. If I can get it and turn it into a battle pet, it will be a super fighter with endless benefits. He vigorously introduced the benefits of the Crows of Misfortune. Damn it! When the elder of the Hell Crow race saw this, he was so angry that his face turned green. The genius of his race was being auctioned off in front of everyone, and they were even criticizing him. It was as though they were selling pigs. Seeing such a scene, they wanted to faint. It was too embarrassing. The Raven King's face was as black as charcoal. Although he didn't say a word, everyone knew how angry he was right now. He simply wanted to kill Xia Ping immediately. Not bad. It is indeed a real Crow of Misfortune. It's worth it. I bid 350 billion federal coins. As soon as the auction started, someone immediately shouted and participated in the auction. It was the human king, Peng Dong. He saw the Crow of Misfortune in the broadcast room and confirmed that it was not a fake. He was very satisfied and immediately made a bid. What? Many people were shocked. They originally thought that with such a high starting price, it was possible that it would not be sold. Now, Someone actually participated in the auction at the first moment and raised the price by 50 billion federal coins. However, how could they know the wealth of the king? If they really liked something, they would go bankrupt to get it. A mere few hundred billion was nothing to them. A bunch of poor people. The one who spoke was the Sea Shark King. His face was full of disdain as he shouted, "The crow of misfortune is indeed not bad. I can buy it to guard the door. This king wants it. I bid 500 billion federal coins." As soon as these words came out, everyone felt a little dizzy. To directly raise the price to 500 billion federal coins, this was too exaggerated. It was not enough to describe it as throwing away 1,000 gold coins. Scam. This is definitely a scam. A demon king shouted, thinking that this guy was definitely a scam. Otherwise, how could he suddenly raise the price to such a high price? It was completely unreasonable. Shady. There are too many shady things here. Despicable and shameless human. A good auction actually needs to be scammed. Where's your conscience? Scamming us of so much money. Does your conscience feel uneasy? Could it be that all of it has been fed to the dogs? Protest against the human using scams to maliciously raise the price. Many demon kings shouted, thinking that the human was using scams to maliciously raise the price. His methods were extremely vile. If this was a normal auction, who would suddenly raise the price by 200 billion federal coins? This was simply a lunatic with so much money that there was nowhere else to spend it. In fact, many people were also bewildered. Was there really someone willing to spend so much money to buy a demon race prodigy? This price was really too exaggerated. Even a king family would find it hard to take out so much money at once. After all, the king family was very big and needed money everywhere. They didn't have much liquid funds either. Scam your sister. Who dares to use this king as a scam? If you don't have money, don't talk here. Scram. The Sea Shark King sneered. A bunch of poor people eat steamed buns all day long. Do you think everyone in the world eats steamed buns? When this king used the spirit fluid to brush his teeth, you guys weren't even born yet. What? Many demon kings were mad. This auctioneer was so arrogant and didn't put them in his eyes at all. Moreover, his tone was very despicable, similar to that shameless human. If this guy wasn't a scam, no one would believe it. Xiaoping couldn't be bothered with these troublesome demon kings and said directly, "If no one has a higher price, then the crow of misfortune belongs to this bidder." Hearing this, the crow of misfortune race's hair stood on end. They were extremely nervous and didn't care if this guy was a scam. If he wasn't a scam, then if he fell into the hands of this mysterious person, they would probably never return. The prodigy of the crow of misfortune race would probably never return. No, we must rescue our race's prodigy. Otherwise, if he is auctioned away by someone else, how can we find him? We can't allow this to happen. The elder of the crow of misfortune race roared. At this moment, they couldn't care less if there was something fishy going on or if the other party was a scam. They could only directly bid and buy the prodigy of their race. Chapter 746. Many monster kings had strange expressions on their faces. Previously, the crows of misfortune were extremely unyielding, saying that they would never participate in the auction. They could not lose their sovereignty and be humiliated by humans. But now, as soon as the auction began, they actually joined the bidding army directly, throwing away all the words he had said before. You can't blame the crows of misfortune. This human is too treacherous, too despicable, too shameless. He grasped the weakness of human nature and made us be manipulated by him. It's not that we are incompetent, it's that this human is too treacherous and the enemy is too powerful. This damned human actually forced the crows of misfortune to such an extent. He should be killed. Just you wait. Earning such black-hearted money, sooner or later, this human will also suffer a calamity. The group of monster kings cursed fiercely, wishing that Xiaoping would immediately be struck by lightning. He actually used such a method to cheat the monster race of their money. His conscience had been eaten by dogs. 650 billion. King Pengdong's expression did not change as he raised the auction price by 50 billion. The Sea Shark King was even more calm. He held a cigarette in his mouth and puffed out the smoke. He calmly said a number 670 billion. 700 billion. I bid 700 billion. The Crow King shouted crazily, his voice hoarse. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. If he had known earlier, he would have agreed to the humans' conditions. At that time, he could have spent about 500 billion federal coins to buy back his monster race genius. But because his pride was too high, he firmly disagreed and even wanted to use methods to pressure the human, but it was useless. Now, he was directly auctioned by that human. It seemed that even 700 billion federal coins would not be enough. Who knew how much he would have to pay in the future? He had no choice but to buy back. Putting aside the fact that the Crow of Misfortune had the qualifications to become an invincible monster king, just his identity alone was that he was the Crow King's grandson and his most beloved grandson. No matter what, he could not let his grandson be auctioned by others and suffer. I hope that everyone will stop bidding. We are from the Crows of Misfortune. If anyone is willing to show mercy, we, the Crows of Misfortune, will owe you a favor. The elder of the Crows of Misfortune declared, "Yes, if anyone dares to continue bidding, that will be an enemy of the Crows of Misfortune. You must properly consider whether or not you can afford to offend us, the Crows of Misfortune. If you don't want to die, think about it." A group of elders from the Crows of Misfortune spoke ruthlessly, using the prestige of the Crows of Misfortune to exert pressure, hoping to intimidate the other monarchs who wanted to bid so that they wouldn't continue to raise the price and cause them heavy losses. The people watching the live broadcast were in an uproar, but they had to seriously consider it. The Crows of Misfortune were a powerful race that had existed since ancient times in the Cloud Realm. Even now, they still stood tall and did not go extinct. Merely such resources and reserves were sufficient to cause countless people to be terrified. No one knew exactly what sort of old freaks existed within the Crows of Misfortune and what sort of trump cards they possessed. If one offended such a tyrannical race, it was likely that they wouldn't be able to eat or sleep in peace. Everyone would have to weigh the pros and cons of offending such a powerful race for the sake of a demon race genius. TSK, the Sea Shark King sneered. What about the bad luck Crow tribe? If you have the guts, come to the endless sea and bite me. I'm waiting for your revenge. Don't talk nonsense. If you have the guts, use your money to kill me. If you don't have the guts, don't scream here. I bid 750 billion. The Sea Shark King did not take the bad luck Crow's words seriously and continued to raise the price by 50 billion. For a king of the sea like him, the bad luck Crow tribe was just a fart. No matter how powerful they were just a race that ruled the sky. How could they enter the sea? If they really entered the sea, they would lose half of their strength. At that time, the Sea Shark King would be like a turtle in a jar, waiting to be slaughtered by the sea demon race. Therefore, the Sea Shark King did not take the Bad Luck Crow tribe seriously at all. The Bad Luck Crow tribe was furious. They did not expect that the reputation of their race would be useless. In fact, they had also thought of this. Once they advanced to the King realm, they would have the power that surpassed mortals. How could they be easily intimidated? The reason why they said those words just now was that they hoped to scare the other competitors. They did not expect that they would fail in the end. No one paid attention to them. 760 billion. The Bad Luck Crow King bid. Its face was even darker, and its body was filled with a black, strange aura. It seemed to distort the space and form a unique dark aura field, as if it was connected to the endless hell. The surrounding demons were extremely alarmed. They felt that this was a fiendish demon that had come from hell. 800 billion. The Sea Shark King was very rich. He did not take this amount seriously at all. I also want to play. 810 billion. Guys, don't fight with me. I don't have much, but I have a lot of money. 820 billion. You guys are nothing. I have killed countless people and especially robbed the rich. I destroyed a few small races and got 1,000 years' worth of wealth. Who dares to compete with me in wealth? They don't know how to write the word death. 830 billion. Guys, don't fight. The Bad Luck Crow is very useful to me. It's an excellent research material. I must win this auction. I hope you can give me some face. 840 billion. Get lost. Who do you think you are? I don't even give face to the Bad Luck Crow clan, but I'm giving it to a nobody like you. Do you really think you're a big shot? You're still pretending. 850 billion. Many kings were stimulated and also participated in the auction. The price was also 10 billion. The increase of 10 billion was faster than the price of a house. The Bad Luck Crow clan's eyes were burning with anger, and their hearts were burning with anxiety. The Bad Luck Crow king was even angrier. None of these bidders were good people. They either wanted to keep his grandson as a pet or a watchdog, or they wanted to dissect the Bad Luck Crow clan and unravel the secret of the Bad Luck Crow clan's bloodline power. No matter who they were extremely detestable. He could not imagine what kind of treatment his grandson would suffer if he fell into the hands of these villains and lunatics. Simply put, you would be better off dead. Thinking of this, the Bad Luck Crow king could no longer care about bidding slowly. He shouted crazily, 1 trillion. What? Everyone was shocked, especially some ordinary humans. They were so shocked that they felt dizzy. They could not believe what they had heard. 1 trillion. That was a full trillion federal coins. Even a super company's market value was only 1 trillion federal coins. An ordinary human city's annual revenue was about this level. But now, a demon race's prodigy was auctioned for more than 1 trillion federal coins. Chapter 747. That's ridiculous. Getting rich overnight. This is simply getting rich overnight. Some humans were so jealous that their eyes turned green. They were so envious and jealous that they wished they were Xiaoping. They felt as if their hearts were beating like gongs, madly trembling, and their blood boiling. This much wealth was enough to make anyone's blood boil. Damn, even if I won a lottery worth 100 million, I would have to win 10,000 times to get this much money. Even if I win once a day, it will still take 30 years. Some people were trembling in fear as they knew how terrifying this amount was. This was money that ordinary people could never earn in their entire lives. Just the interest alone was enough to make ordinary people dizzy and unable to distinguish between north and south. If 1 trillion was taken out and placed on the ground, a villa might not even be able to contain it. Capturing a demon race prodigy can earn so much money. If I had known earlier, I would have gone to capture one too. Capture my ass. If it wasn't for the celestial demon battlefield, how could it be so easy to capture one? Indeed, they usually live in the myriad demon mountain. There are countless demon kings there. Going in is just courting death. If they could capture them, they would have done so long ago. Why would it be our turn? Moreover, everyone who enters the celestial demon battlefield is a demon race prodigy with tyrannical strength. They could be said to be invincible among those of the same level. If we went in, it would be good enough if we didn't get killed. How could we capture them? Only unparalleled demon geniuses with combat power that far surpasses those demon race prodigies can do this. Everyone sighed. They also knew that if it was them, it would be impossible to capture so many demon race prodigies. Just staying alive would take a lot of effort. 1 trillion. Hearing this, even the rich and overbearing Sea Shark King couldn't help but hesitate. Although the Sea Shark King was very rich, money didn't grow on trees. Moreover, he wasn't a fool. Spending so much money just to buy a demon, was it worth it? He began to weigh the pros and cons. After all, if the cost was too high, even his underwater kingdom wouldn't be able to afford it. The other monarchs also hesitated, considering whether they should continue bidding. At this moment, the Crow King made up his mind and spoke again. In addition to 1 trillion, I've decided to add a peerless king-level fist technique manual. Dark Nether Fist. What? Not only the ordinary people, but even the kings were shocked by these words. What was a peerless king-level secret manual? It was the best-known martial arts secret manual. Once it was cultivated to a high level, it would have the strength of an invincible king. King-level secret techniques were also divided into low grade, medium grade, high grade, and peerless grade. The difference between each grade was like heaven and earth. Peerless grade king level was the highest grade secret technique. It could be said that such a cultivation method was a secret that would not be passed down even among the various martial arts forces and major races. It would not be easily leaked out. But now, in order to auction his grandson back, the Raven King was actually willing to take out this martial arts secret manual, knocking out those who tried to bid. Exaggerated. This is too exaggerated. Has the Raven King gone mad? King Class Peerless Grade. That's a King Class Peerless Grade martial art manual. It's extremely rare in the world. The Raven King is really willing to part with such a secret manual. This is a priceless treasure. It can't even be described with money. This time, the Hellraven race has really gone all out. Everyone was shocked. Just the price of 1 trillion was enough to scare a lot of people. Adding a King Class Peerless Grade martial art manual, it made countless people feel dizzy. They felt that this kind of auction was too high-end. They had probably only seen one like this once in their lives. Raven King, you traitor of the demon race. You even took out a King Class Peerless Grade secret technique to auction and give it away. This is simply supporting the enemy. If a few more kings appear in the human race because of this secret technique, you, the Raven King, will be the enemy of the demon race. Your name will go down in history. The group of demon kings was furious. They felt that the Raven King's actions were too much. To actually take out a King Class Peerless Grade secret technique, this was simply beyond their imagination. After all, secret techniques represented the foundation of a race. Having a powerful secret technique was the guarantee of producing a steady stream of experts. Once one obtained it, no one would easily leak it out lest other races become stronger and become a threat to themselves. It's none of your business. The Raven King raged. I asked you guys to unite previously, but you guys still held me back. You don't want to have a war with the humans, but now you're here to make a fuss. Do you guys still have a right to speak now? If I don't take out this thing, will you guys redeem my grandson? It looked coldly at the many demon kings. The surrounding demon kings were all silent, feeling very awkward. After all, instead of making them pay the price to redeem the Raven of Misfortune, they might as well make the Raven of Misfortune pay a huge price. In any case, their fellow Taoists would die, not them. Forget it. Although a King Class Peerless Grade secret technique is very precious, it's not like the human race doesn't have it. A demon king said, 1 or 2 more won't have much of an impact on the overall situation. Even if the secret technique is very important, talent is even more important. Otherwise, with the deep foundation of our demon race, countless demon kings would have appeared long ago. Many demon kings nodded. Even if it was the same secret technique and it was carefully taught, different students would have different effects. Some would have outstanding results, while others would have very little effect. It was just like the students on Earth. Everyone used the same textbook, practiced the same exercises, and were taught by the same teacher. However, there were also different grades. Some could get full marks, but some couldn't even pass. This had a lot to do with one's personal effort and aptitude. Powerful secret techniques could produce ordinary experts in batches, but they couldn't produce kings. At this moment, Xia Ping smiled like a flower when he saw the bidding price. He was very satisfied with this price. He was originally looking forward to 500 billion federal coins, but he didn't expect that this group of demon kings would be so enthusiastic and directly raise the price to 1 trillion federal coins. There was even a King Class Peerless Grade secret technique. This was simply a pie that fell from the sky. Is there anything else? Is there a higher price? If there isn't, the Raven of Misfortune will belong to this old man who just made a bid. Xia Ping shouted, hoping that someone would continue to drive up the price. Bullsh *T. Many demon kings looked at Xia Ping in disdain. This shameless human still wanted someone to continue raising the price. But how could that be possible? Just a King Class Peerless Grade secret technique was already an astronomical price, not to mention 1 trillion federal coins. Adding the two together, it would be an astronomical price. Even demon kings would feel the pain, as though a piece of their flesh had been cut off. Chapter 748. All right, if there's no one else, then the Crow of Misfortune will belong to this old man. After watching for a while, Xia Ping realized that no one was bidding anymore, and no one was bidding a higher price. Hence, he made the final decision and decided the auction price. Success. Hearing this, the extremely nervous Crow King immediately relaxed and heaved a sigh of relief. It was very afraid that if such a price couldn't save its grandson, that it would be completely finished. Fortunately, it had made the right choice. Taking out a peerless king-level secret manual had deterred the other competitors, giving them no time to consider and making the final decision. If the auction continued like this, both sides would be really angry and the auction price would be uncontrollable. At that time, even the Crow of Misfortune wouldn't be able to bear it. However, when it thought about how it had paid 1 trillion federal coins and even a peerless king-level secret manual, it felt extremely pained. It was as if this damned human had cut off a few pieces of meat from its body. All right, let's continue the auction. Xiaoping didn't have time to care about the Crow King's inner thoughts. He said, "Next, there'll be a big discount. Buy one, get two free." What? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. They looked at Xiaoping in a live broadcast room. Could it be that this kid found his conscience and felt that he couldn't continue to cheat others like this? Could it be that he decided to give a big discount? Someone immediately asked, "Buy one, get two free? What's the specific price?" "If you buy the three-eyed giant, you'll get the Blackwater explosive bear and the venomous spider for free." Xiaoping said carelessly, "Of course, the starting price is a little high, starting at 1 trillion federal coins." Shameless. Many monster kings cursed. How is this buy one, get two free? It was clearly a bundled sale, forcing others to buy the other two monster race geniuses. Even the starting price of the auction had increased. Originally, the starting price of each monster race genius was only 300 billion federal coins. Even if it added up, it would only be 900 billion federal coins. Now, it had directly risen to 1 trillion. How is this a big discount? It was clearly a scam, and a huge one at that. "Can I only buy the three-eyed giant?" The giant elder asked. He really didn't want to spend money to help other races. This was simply a good deed. "No problem. The starting price is also 1 trillion. Anyway, when you buy it, if you still dislike the hyper-venomous spider and the Blackwater explosive bear, you can return it." "I don't mind." Xiaoping expressed that this was not a problem at all. "Retreat my ass." The elder of the giant tribe was furious. They had spent so much money to buy it back, and now they wanted to return it. Did they think they were fools? Even if there was something wrong with their heads, they wouldn't do such a stupid thing. They also knew that this was the shameless and dirty method of this human. The hypertoxic spider and the Blackwater explosive bear were not as valuable as the Crows of Misfortune and the three-eyed giant, which had royal bloodlines. Even if they were to be auctioned, not many people would fight for them, and the price would not be able to be raised. However, those who wanted to buy the three-eyed giant had no choice but to raise the price if they treated the two monsters as the three-eyed giant's subordinates. This was what Xiaoping had learned from his previous life on Earth. Those unscrupulous merchants used promotion methods. They would sell some goods that couldn't be sold as gifts for popular goods and raise the price at the same time. Then, even if the customers didn't want the gifts, they had to suffer in order to buy the popular goods. "Human, don't go too far. You're selling in bundles and raising the price. Do you still have a conscience?" The giant king cursed. He was infuriated by Xiaoping's shameless behavior. Originally, they only wanted to buy the three-eyed giant. They didn't care how the other monsters died. However, now that this shameless human was selling them in bundles, they had to pay a huge price. "If you don't want to buy it, that's fine. I'm not forcing you. Anyway, it's Zhou Yu and Huang Gai. One is willing, and the other is willing. I'm a very democratic person." Xiaoping made it clear that he was here, and so were the rules. If they didn't want to participate in the auction, he wouldn't force them. "No more nonsense. Let's start the auction. I'll pay 1.2 trillion. The Sea Shark King couldn't wait to bid. He wanted the three-eyed giant. He hadn't competed with anyone before, so he had to get it now. Damn it. The group of three-eyed giants was mad. It was this guy again. Just now, this bastard had raised the price maliciously, causing the Crows of Misfortune to suffer heavy losses. Now, this bastard was the first to speak. Originally, they could use the crowd's anger to suppress this damned human. Now, this bastard had spoken, and they couldn't say anything. 1.5 trillion. The giant king roared. He wanted to strangle that guy to death now. 1.7 trillion. The Sea Shark King was rich. He wanted the three-eyed giant special, very much. Even if he had to pay a huge price, it would be worth it. That was because the three-eyed giants, basically wouldn't leak out. After death, it would be destroyed immediately. If someone dared to have it, they would even send their kings to hunt them down. They wouldn't stop until they were dead. That was why the eye was so precious. King, the three-eyed giant son of heaven, can't be taken away. Yeah, the person who's competing with us definitely doesn't have good intentions. Maybe he's targeting the three-eyed giant's eye. He has ulterior motives. We can't let that bastard succeed. The group of three-eyed giant elders gritted their teeth. To prevent the three-eyed giant's eye from being exposed, they were willing to pay a huge price, even going bankrupt. That was because it was their race's supreme secret. Once it was exposed, they would face a disaster. 8 trillion. The sea shark king shouted. The giant king clenched his teeth. 2 trillion. Both sides fought crazily, and the price kept rising. In the end, the price actually reached 3 trillion federal dollars. It was an astronomical number. The three-eyed giant tribe even had 2 peerless king-level secret manuals, the Spirit Eye Art and the Emperor Fist. The Sea Shark King was stunned by this number. Even though the undersea race was rich, such an auction price was too exaggerated. To the three-eyed giant, this was a moment of life and death. It absolutely couldn't give up, even if it had to go bankrupt. But to the Sea Shark King, it didn't need that much. It wasn't worth it to spend more than half of its savings for a few Demon Clan geniuses. Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else who wants to bid? If we miss this village, we won't have this shop anymore. It's a rare opportunity. Xiaoping called out, hoping to find a few suckers. Chapter 749. As expected, the three-eyed giant, the venomous spider, and the Blackwater explosive bear were all auctioned off by the Giant King. No one could continue to compete with them. The three-eyed giant race immediately heaved a sigh of relief. The geniuses of their race were saved, and the giant race's eyes weren't leaked. This could be considered a great fortune amidst the misfortune. However, when they thought of the heavy price they had paid, they secretly felt bitter in their hearts. Damned human, my three-eyed giant race will never let you off. The Giant King gnashed his teeth. He simply wanted to tear Xiaoping into pieces in the live broadcast room. Following that, the joint auction of the Metal Tiger and the Single-Horned Thunderbolt went very smoothly. A total of 2 trillion federal coins were sold, as well as a peerless king-level secret manual, the 5 Elements Heavenly Tiger Saber. This was the tiger race's big shots who had personally participated in the auction. They were very rich and overbearing. They directly bought it at the highest price, catching the surrounding onlookers off guard. At this point, other than Tu Ling Long, the other geniuses of the monster race had all been sold. This Xiaoping is going to make a fortune. He sold 6 geniuses of the monster race and got a total of 6 trillion federal coins and 4 peerless king-level secret manuals. Getting rich overnight isn't enough to describe this kind of behavior. Someone exclaimed in shock. After carefully calculating, he knew exactly how much Xiaoping had gained from this auction. Damn, 6 trillion isn't just $60,000. This is too exaggerated. Even king-level clans probably don't have many who can take out 6 trillion. To think that I, a dignified grandmaster, can only get a few $100 billion by risking my life. I don't know how many years of savings I've accumulated. Now, this kid just casually holds an auction, and it's equivalent to my lifetime's income. Everyone was shocked and secretly clicked their tongues. Knowing that Xiaoping had earned so much, their eyes turned green with jealousy. Some kings were equally jealous. They didn't know how long it would take them to create such a shocking amount of wealth. Exaggerated my asterisk guess. He only got it by eating the blood of our monster race. It would be strange if he didn't become rich after scamming so much money from our monster race. Just you wait. Sooner or later, you'll have to spit it out after eating our monster race. Hearing these words, the demon race powerhouses gnashed their teeth in anger and even had the urge to vomit blood. The more these people exclaimed, the more envious and the more depressed they became. This was because the money had been plundered from their bodies. He was eating their flesh and drinking their blood. Without their contributions, how could he be so extravagant? Well, the auction is over. The goods will be delivered to you soon. Xiaoping was very satisfied with the results of the auction, so he announced the end of the live auction. The demon monarchs had also left their addresses. When the time came, he would send the Raven of Misfortune and the other demons through FedEx. The efficiency of express delivery was very high, and it could arrive within 7 days. Ding dong, as soon as the live broadcast ended, Xiaoping's communicator rang. It was the vice principal, Lu Shuwen. He immediately answered the call. An old man's virtual projection appeared in front of him. Principal Lu. Xiaoping greeted Lu Shuwen. His attitude was very respectful, not only because of this elder's strength, but also because he was a hero of the human race. From the Cataclysm until now, he had made countless contributions to the human race. This was a highly respected elder. The auction this time was held well. It can be considered that we have ruthlessly slaughtered that group of demon monarchs. After this, they should know what it means to feel pain. Lu Shuwen laughed. Clearly, he had also watched the live broadcast and had seen many good shows. It's all thanks to the principal's strong support, Xiaoping said modestly. Lu Shuwen said, by the way, this time you have obtained 4 peerless king-tier secret manuals from the demon race. I wonder what you plan to do with them? He looked at Xiaoping. Principal, what do you have in mind? Xiaoping blinked his eyes. This time, he had obtained 4 secret manuals. They were the 5 elements Heavenly Tiger, Saber Technique, Spirit Eye Technique, Emperor Fist, and Darkness Nether Fist. Lu Shuwen said straightforwardly, I suggest that you take them out and place them in Yanhuang University's library. Let the other elite students learn from them and increase the strength of the human race. Of course, this isn't to let you suffer a loss. Because you're the owner of these 4 peerless king-tier secret manuals, you have the copyright of these 4 secret manuals. Therefore, any martial artist who learns these secret manuals of yours will pay you a patent fee. As long as one person learns it, the other party will have to pay you 10 billion Federation dollars in patent fees. You can make use of these secret manuals to create an endless stream of income. Upon hearing these words, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. In this world where martial arts flourished, although martial arts secret manuals were everywhere, many tyrannical secret manuals had owners, even if they were willing to make these secret manuals public. However, if someone wanted to learn the other party's secret manual, they would have to pay a patent fee. Only then would they be able to use such martial arts legally. If one didn't have the owner's consent and didn't pay for it, it would be seen as stealing. The person would be arrested by the Federation government and imprisoned for hundreds of years. In serious cases, they might even be exiled to the army and have all their personal assets confiscated. It was because of such a patent restriction and the huge profits that many martial artists didn't keep it to themselves. They were willing to take out their precious martial arts secret manuals so that the martial artists of the entire society could learn them. This also allowed the entire human race to become stronger. Everyone practiced martial arts. This method isn't bad. I agree. Let's hand it over to the school. Xiaoping nodded in agreement. In any case, these few peerless king-level secret manuals were obtained from the demon race. He had no intention of hiding them. Although he had obtained trillions of Federation dollars now, that was just a one-time deal. However, these few peerless king-level secret manuals were the real business. If 100 martial artists were to learn them, he would probably be able to obtain an astronomical amount of income. Of course, there weren't many people who were qualified to learn peerless king-level secret manuals. Very good. Upon hearing this, Lu Shuwen was very happy. To Yanhuang University, having a few more peerless king-level secret manuals meant that they would have a huge foundation and would be able to attract more outstanding students. After all, no one would complain about having too many martial arts secret manuals. All right, there's something else I have to tell you. Lu Shuwen changed the topic and looked at Xiaoping. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. Principal, if there's anything, you can say it directly. He instinctively felt that this was the reason why Principal Lu Shuwen called him. As for the peerless king-level secret manuals, there was no need for the principal to personally discuss this matter. The Battle Rabbit Monarch called me. Lu Shuwen went straight to the point. It hopes to trade with you for the rabbit race's Saintess, Tu Linglong. Of course, the other party is also very sincere and isn't overbearing. It has given some very good conditions. Chapter 750. Interesting. Tell me about it. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. Since the principal had said this, there was no harm in listening. The first condition is to pay 1 trillion federal coins. Lu Shuwen stretched out a finger. The second condition is to provide a chaotic mending pill. Just these 2 conditions. What? Hearing this, Xiaoping blinked and said, "You want to exchange for 2 linglong with just these 2 conditions? Isn't it a bit too much?" 2 linglong was an existence even more precious than the crow of misfortune, so it wouldn't be strange even if her value was doubled. But now that the other party had only given 2 conditions, he felt that the other party wasn't sincere enough. "Do you know what the chaotic mending pill is?" Lu Shuwen smiled. Xiaoping shook his head, indicating that he didn't know. The chaotic mending pill is a peerless pill, and it's difficult to find one in this world. Lu Shuwen said in a low voice, "Its main ingredients are 108 types of precious spirit herbs. After going through a complicated process, it requires 81 days to successfully refine. Once consumed, it can repair the martial Tao foundation in the body, make up for the body's flaws, increase the body's potential, and allow the body to reach a perfect state. That's why it's called the chaotic mending pill. Countless martial artists yearn to obtain it. It can be said to be a peerless divine pill that establishes the foundation of a king. It's priceless." Xiaoping's heart palpitated when he heard this. Although he felt that his martial Tao foundation was deep, his cultivation speed was too fast. No matter how perfect it was, there would always be some slight flaws. These flaws couldn't even be sensed by spiritual force, but they really existed. If he could consume the chaotic mending pill, he could repair these flaws and make his body even more perfect. If you want to advance to the king realm, or even step onto the path of an invincible king, you must consolidate your martial Tao foundation and evolve your body into a stainless body. Lu Shuwen looked at Xiaoping. If there's even the slightest flaw, it might cause you to fail to break through to the king realm, and it might even become an obstacle to your advancement to a higher realm. Therefore, this is a peerless divine pill that can help martial artists advance to king realm. If it wasn't for 2 linglong, the rabbit race probably wouldn't be willing to take out such a pill. I feel that this is a great opportunity that shouldn't be missed. His words were very obvious. Compared to the opportunity to become a king, 2 linglong was just a small matter. Furthermore, leaving 2 linglong behind wouldn't bring him much benefit. Instead, he would completely offend the rabbit race, and the rabbit race's monarch would constantly target him. It was even possible that they would send experts to assassinate him and hinder his cultivation. I understand. Let's exchange then. Xiaoping smiled slightly. Since there were so many benefits, he could not refuse. This heaven-mending pill was also something he urgently needed. After all, his rate of improvement was simply too fast, leaving behind many hidden dangers in his body. If he wanted to eliminate these hidden dangers, he would need to spend a lot of time. However, with the help of the chaotic mending pill, he would be able to achieve twice the result with half the effort. The benefits were simply endless. All right, I'll reply to the Rabbit King then. Lu Shuwen smiled and quickly hung up the phone. At this moment in the villa, brothers of the demon race, Xiaoping looked at the crow of misfortune and the other demons. The path of life is long. Although we have only known each other for a short period of time, I feel that we have already become good friends, friends who can go through life and death together. But I didn't expect that we would have to separate so soon. Life is really unpredictable. After you leave, remember not to miss me too much. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to treat your yearning for me. He looked up at the sky and sighed. He felt that life and death were unpredictable, and the changes were too fast. Go my ass. Who's a good friend? A friend who can go through life and death together with you. Be a little more thick-skinned. The crow of misfortune and the other demons were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. It was clearly this shameless bastard who sold them off as slaves, but now he was here pretending to be friends who could go through life and death together with them. They had never seen a human so thick-skinned. Even a treasured sword that could slice through iron as if it were mud wouldn't be able to cut through his thick skin. However, after leaving, they would indeed miss him very much. Furthermore, it would be engraved in their hearts, and they would never forget him for the rest of their lives. They would be itching to skin this fellow and pull out his tendons. However, they didn't dare to voice out their thoughts. Otherwise, they would probably suffer before they left if this human remembered them. It was better to wait until after they left to curse this damned human. Big Brother is right. Although we haven't been together for a long time, I feel that a long time has passed. It's like a century. We will never forget what happened during this period of time. We will remember it for the rest of our lives. That's right. This is a rare memory. It touched me a lot. It's a precious experience that I can't learn in my lifetime. The crow of misfortune and the other demons gritted their teeth. I never expected you to be so reluctant to part with me. I'm really touched. Xiaoping sighed. I really don't want to let you go and continue living with you. The expressions of the crow of misfortune and the other demons changed. If this kid went back on his word, their lives would be over. They probably wouldn't be able to escape from the hands of this devil for the rest of their lives. When they thought of their future as battle servants, they felt incomparably dark. However, Xiaoping continued, however, I'm a very principled man. I won't go back on my word, even if I sell you all. Upon hearing this, the crow of misfortune and the other demons heaved a sigh of relief. Thankfully, this fellow wasn't a fickle person. Little Ling Long. Ignoring the expressions of the crow of misfortune and the other demons, Xiaoping turned around and stretched out his hand to touch two Ling Long's rabbit ears. With a face full of affection, he said, when you go back to Myriad Demon Mountain this time, don't be careless. Don't get caught by others again. Do you understand? When we meet again, I'll catch you again. At that time, you'll be my personal maid. No matter how much money you have, you won't be able to exchange for it. What? He still wants to catch me. Upon hearing this, Tu Linglong's hair stood on end. She was so scared that her face turned pale. This shameless human wanted to catch her again. Whenever she thought of this scene, she felt incomparably terrified. She immediately decided that she would never leave Myriad Demon Mountain in the future. She would obediently stay at home and be a homebody. The outside world was really too scary. There was a beast eyeing her covetously. The crow of misfortune and the other demons also shivered. They felt that this kid was already using kidnapping for ransom. If there was a chance, this bastard wouldn't mind catching her again. And at that time, it was estimated that even the elders of their own race wouldn't save them again. Being caught once was still forgivable, but being caught twice or thrice would make them completely useless. Thinking of this, they all secretly decided that if there was a chance, they absolutely wouldn't encounter this human. If they really did encounter him, they would bring all their men and capture this kid in one fell swoop with absolute advantage. Chapter 751. Ding dong. At this moment, the system's voice sounded, "Congratulations to the host. This time you have offended a large number of monster kings, as well as some human kings. You have become a thorn in their eyes and have received a lot of hatred. This time, the host has received 250 million hatred points." What? Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes widened. 250 million hatred points? This number was too exaggerated. All the hatred points he had received before were not so much. Originally, due to various reasons, he had spent a lot of hatred points, and there were only 5 million left. But now there were 250 million more hatred points, which had increased by who knows how many times. I'm rich this time. Xiaoping was extremely excited. By selling the 7 monsters, he had received a total of 7 trillion federal coins for king-level peerless secret manuals and a peerless pill, the heaven-mending pill. Now that he had received 250 million hatred points, it could be said that he had become rich overnight. As the saying goes, a horse is not fat without night grass, and a man is not rich without a windfall. Now it's a piece of cake for me to buy a super battleship with the money I have on me. With a snap, Xiaoping opened his bank account. Seeing a series of zeros on it, he felt a little dizzy. This time, he obtained 7 trillion federal coins and cheated the whole family of 500 billion federal coins. Plus, after the genius battle, his wealth had reached 1550 billion federal coins. It could be said that his total assets were 9,050 billion federal coins. With such wealth, Even an ordinary king's family would not be able to buy a super battleship. It was more than enough to arm the battleship to the teeth. Moreover, if the 4 king-level peerless secret manuals were placed in the library of Yanhuang University, if someone studied them, it would also create a steady stream of wealth for him. This was like a hen laying golden eggs. Congratulations to the host. The hatred points have reached 100 million. The system's voice sounded again. The requirement for the system's gift package have been met, and the reward is a flame of life. What? The flame of life? Hearing this, Xiaoping's body trembled. He knew that there were many unique flames in the world. There were flames of coal that could freeze thousands of miles, create a world of ice and snow, and destroy all things. There were flames of nothingness that were born from nothingness and devoured heaven and earth, and their power was terrifying. Some swayed in the depths of hell, absorbing the power of hell and condensing the essence of flames, hellfire. There was also the essence of the sun born from the depths of the sun. There was even the fire of the phoenix that gushed out from the body of the phoenix. Every kind of heaven and earth flame had earth-shattering power, and this flame of life was one of them. Xiaoping knew that this flame did not have much attack power, but contained an incredible amount of power. It was different from other heaven and earth flames. It did not have much destructive power. On the contrary, it was filled with rich life energy. If the seeds of heaven and earth spirit herbs came into contact with the flame of life, they would quickly germinate and obtain abundant life energy. They would grow quickly and shorten their growth cycle. In fact, if living beings were to constantly bathe in such flames, they would be able to continuously strengthen their physiques, increase their body's potential, and even increase their lifespan, breaking through the limits of the human body. Legend, if the seeds, he as if he would be, he as a, the as he Ozus warriors of as warriors, as he as if in as warriors of as if, of the martial as, if martial as martial as. My main technique is the pure yang immortal art. It has the special ability to devour all kinds of heaven and earth flames. Xiaoping clenched his fists. After swallowing the essence of the sun, the power of my flame has greatly increased. It is extremely yang, and it is unstoppable in the face of those demons. This is a great weapon. If I can devour this flame of life, bathe in it, and refine it, my lifespan will be greatly increased. I can even heal all kinds of injuries on my body, and I will have infinite potential. He was very excited. This was indeed a big gift, a super big gift. If he exchanged it in the system, he did not know how much hatred he would need. It must be an astronomical number. At this moment, the system's voice sounded. The flame of life has arrived. Please check and receive it, host. Boom! Immediately, a wormhole appeared in front of Xiaoping. From the depths of the wormhole, a green flame emerged. It was overflowing with green, like a green lotus. It didn't emit any crazy, destructive, explosive power. Instead, it was filled with a heart-warming life force, forming circles of unique energy fluctuations. As if bathed in the power of the green flames, many underground plants began to grow crazily. Xiaoping also felt the great power of this flame. He seemed to feel that the vitality of his body was constantly increasing. His muscles, bones, meridians, and cells seemed to be constantly changing, surpassing the original level of life. Devour. Subconsciously, Xiaoping opened his mouth and swallowed the green lotus. At the same time, he operated the pure yang immortal art, forming a huge vortex inside his dantian. Rumble. Suddenly, this flame of life was immediately devoured by Xiaoping's body. All the power was absorbed and integrated into his limbs and bones. At the same time, hundreds of golden crow cells in his body seemed to be very excited, as if they had eaten a huge tonic. Their whole bodies were trembling. With a boom, countless fire elements in the void space began to burn, and a flame shadow of a divine bird suddenly appeared behind him. It burned wildly and crackled. Every golden crow cell was greedily absorbing the flame of life, trying to take this unique life force as their own and completely control it. So comfortable. Xiaoping could not help but moan. He felt as if he was soaking in a hot spring. His whole body was warm, as if he was a newborn baby soaking in amniotic fluid. It was extremely safe and comfortable. At this moment, his vitality was also constantly increasing. Although he did not know what had happened, he felt that his lifespan had been greatly increased, as if he had broken through the bottleneck of a mortal's lifespan. Dong! After an unknown amount of time, this green flame wandered around, passing through countless meridians along the way, and finally gathered in the Dantian's Dantian, becoming one. As a result, it turned into a green seed, lying quietly in the Dantian's Dantian, which was like a sea of fire and magma. It was surrounded by green light, which warmed people's hearts. I did it. Xiaoping clenched his fists, and a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. He operated the pure, yang, immortal art, completely devouring the essence of this flame of life and making it his own. Chapter 752. Boom! With a flip of Xiaoping's hand, a small cluster of green flames appeared on his right hand. It swayed like a flame and immediately emitted circles of green waves. It was full of green. It was as if the whole space had turned into a forest at this moment. He threw the wisp of flame out of the window and accurately threw it onto a small tree in the yard. Rustle, the wisp of green flame instantly integrated into the small tree. Immediately, the small tree seemed to have eaten some super tonic, and all the branches were shaking. Its whole body swelled rapidly, and the roots under the ground also extended crazily like a flood dragon. They went dozens of meters deep into the ground and absorbed the power of the earth. In just a few breaths, it grew from a height of 1 or 2 meters to a height of more than 10 or 20 meters. The trunk of the big tree also swelled several times, to the extent that 2 adults couldn't even hug it. Moreover, the branches and leaves were lush and full of green, like a tree god. What a powerful flame of life! It can not only refine the body and increase the lifespan. If this kind of flame is used to cultivate elixirs, it will be successful and get twice the result with half the effort. Xiaoping was secretly amazed. He had long known that the flame of life was a rare fire of heaven and earth, and it contained vigorous vitality. However, if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't know the magic of this kind of flame. Now, it was just a small test, and it made a small tree grow into a towering tree, changing the nature of life. It was completely imaginable how magical this kind of flame was. It was extraordinary. If Xiaoping wanted to become a master of cultivating elixirs, he could become one immediately. After using the pure yang immortal incantation a few times and using the flame of life, he became more familiar with this kind of flame. If he continued to use it, he believed that he would soon reach the acme of perfection. When the flame of life circulated around his body, Xiaoping suddenly felt that something had happened to his body. With a snap, there seemed to be a shattering sound in the void. His strength was unprecedentedly strong, and his mental strength was extremely terrifying. Everything was developing in a good direction, but he didn't know why he felt a trace of weakness in his body. This was a sign of an unstable foundation. Could it be that my cultivation speed is too fast, and my foundation is finally unstable? Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of cold light. He knew that Vice Principal Lu Shuwen was not speaking without thinking. With the eyesight of an invincible king, even if they had only been in contact for a short period of time, he would probably be able to tell that there was something wrong with him. Perhaps it was because he had cultivated too quickly that there was a hidden danger in him. He immediately looked inside his body. His powerful spiritual energy permeated every meridian, every bone, every inch of muscle in his body. It even wanted to penetrate into every cell. Half an hour passed in an instant. As expected, there is still a hidden danger in my body. Finally, with the help of Xiaoping's powerful spiritual energy, he discovered some abnormalities in his body through his all-encompassing scan. There was a tiny crack on every bone. These cracks couldn't be seen with the naked eye, and they were even smaller than a strand of hair. Every inch of his muscles was slightly damaged. These were all left behind by previous battles. Even if he recovered every time, there would always be some small injuries that couldn't be healed. It was even to the extent that every meridian seemed to be extremely tough like cowhide, but there were still some scratches. Even though these scratches didn't seem to affect his body at all, and they were just like the scars on a human's body. But as his cultivation improved and he advanced to the peak of the Grandmaster realm, these scratches would increase as well. These scratches would increase along with his strength. At that time, these things would definitely become obstructions in his advancement to the king realm. This was the so-called damage to his foundation. Right, I have the Heaven Mend pill. Xiaoping took out a white porcelain bottle, and the Heaven Mend pill was sent over along with 2 Linglong's transaction. With a snap, he took out the pill from the white porcelain bottle. It was a golden pill. It completely emanated a golden radiance, and it contained a powerful fluctuation of medicinal energy. So long as one took a whiff of it, one's entire body would feel comfortable and refreshed. He felt extremely fortunate that he had obtained a Heaven Mend pill that could perfectly repair the damage to his foundation, condense the immaculate body, and advance to the perfect realm. Otherwise, he would be in great trouble in the long run. However, Vice Headmaster Lu Shuwen had noticed this, and that was why he had asked him to agree to the transaction with the rabbit race. Probably, even if he hadn't made this transaction, this senior would have reminded him to obtain a similar pill to consolidate his foundation. However, now that an enemy had come to offer him help in his hour of need, he naturally wouldn't refuse this responsibility. Eat it and see what it feels like. When he thought up to here, Xiaoping immediately consumed the Heaven Mend pill. He would have to eat this pill sooner or later, and it didn't matter when. When the Heaven Mend pill entered his stomach, he circulated the pure yang everlasting technique, and the solar furnace in the depths of his dantian immediately erupted. It transformed into a terrifying magma vortex that instantly refined this peerless divine pill. Rumble. In an instant, the Heaven Mend pill surged with a majestic medicinal energy. It was a golden aura that stretched out from the depths of his dantian, and it was like numerous golden snakes that wandered through every corner of his body. At this moment, his entire body seemed to be bathed in golden light, and it was like he was enveloped by a golden sun. It seemed shocking, and it was like a primeval god had awakened. How comfortable! Xiaoping could feel that this golden aura contained an unparalleled life force, as well as the ability to recover. Under the perception of his mental energy, the cracks on his body were rapidly mending. The cracks on his bones were mended, and the injuries on his muscles were healed. The traces of his meridians had also disappeared, and it was as though new cells had been formed. It was as though his body had been reborn. Under the tempering of the golden aura, the muscles and tissues had become even stronger. As expected of the Heaven Mend pill, as expected of a peerless divine pill, its effects are simply too good. At this moment, crackling sounds rang out from within Xiaoping's body. His muscles and bones rang out in unison, and it was like the roar of a tiger or leopard. This unique rhythm caused his bones to vibrate, and it penetrated deep into his marrow, producing an inconceivable and mysterious transformation. His body also became stronger step by step. The impurities in the deepest layer of his body also seeped out from the 108,000 pores of his body, transforming into a black substance that was expelled from his body. The surrounding rooms also emitted an unbearable stench, as though it was rotten food that had been smelling for more than 10 days. It was also like a garbage dump that hadn't been cleaned for tens of years, causing one to feel nauseous. If someone were to enter this cultivation room at this moment, they would definitely vomit from the stench. This was also very normal. After all, these black substances were the impurities in the deepest layer of the human body. They were impurities that were produced by eating food, practicing martial arts, and exercising for many years. And these unique impurities were very difficult for the human body to expel, so they were left behind. After accumulating over a long period of time, they became extremely terrifying. Chapter 753. No way. Am I going to break through? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. When all the impurities in his body were expelled, the energy of the sky-mending pill was still very abundant. It flowed around the meridians and poured into the sea of qi in his dantian like the sea. The gang qi in his body vibrated like the raging wind and thunder, rumbling. The majestic gang qi crazily rushed into the spiritual acupoints in his body, trying to break through to a higher realm. Because he had made up for the foundation of martial arts and eliminated the impurities, it was easier for him to break through. It was like a straight road, without any detours, and he could move forward in a straight line. Bang, bang, bang. In a few breaths, his body was shaking, and the acupoints were broken by the terrifying gang qi one by one, so that the acupoints formed a vortex of gang qi, containing more gang qi energy. 1, 2, 3. In the end, the speed of breaking through was getting faster and faster, and he broke through 12 acupoints in one go. The second sky of the supreme power realm. I broke through. Xiaoping was neither happy nor sad. He felt that his breakthrough was simply a matter of course. With a peerless divine pill like the sky-mending pill, which contained a majestic medicinal power, it was a piece of cake for him to break through 12 acupoints in a row and reach the second sky of the supreme power realm in one fell swoop. If it weren't for the fact that most of the medicinal power of the sky-mending pill was used to repair the damage on his body, it was estimated that he could be promoted to the third sky of the supreme power realm with this kind of medicinal power alone. But even so, it was still very amazing. Many masters at the first sky of the supreme power realm sometimes couldn't break through to the second sky of the supreme power realm for several years. After all, it would take a lot of effort to break through 12 acupoints just by absorbing the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. It was extremely difficult even for a supreme power to obtain the precious comprehension of heaven and earth. If they couldn't improve their cultivation speed, they could only struggle in this realm and couldn't break through for decades. What a powerful force, and what a strong gang qi. Xiaoping smiled slightly. The gang qi in his body was surging like the sea. It seemed that at this moment, his every move was like an ancient fierce beast, containing extremely strong power. Obviously, his strength in gang qi had also been greatly improved after he reached the second sky of the supreme power realm. Dong! He punched out, and his stellar energy tore through the air. The force penetrated the back of the paper, and the force was strong and fierce. It was as if the thunder god was roaring above the 9 heavens, and the surrounding air exploded. In the training room, a titanium alloy wall 100 meters away was immediately blasted a big hole by the gang qi. It was as fragile as tofu, and there was no sound of an explosion. It was easily penetrated. Even some of the steel was shattered into pieces. Boom! Xiaoping stomped on the ground, causing the ground to tremble. The entire villa seemed to shake more than a dozen times. Some of the small items in the villa fell down, and the glass windows were shattered, making crackling sounds. It was as if there were tens of thousands of horses galloping, and the tremors caused the surrounding several kilometers to feel a terrifying shockwave. The shockwave rippled out for several kilometers, and even the air seemed to solidify. There were also some elite students living in the surroundings. When they sensed this strange ripple, they were given a big fright. They didn't know what had happened to them, but they were shaken to the point where their blood and qi were roiling. And the entire villa's protection system was temporarily turned off by Xiaoping. Otherwise, the alarm alone would be extremely annoying, and there might even be Grandmaster guards dispatched. This is the Grandmaster realm, returning to one's natural state with infinite power. One punch is like the birth of a dragon, invincible. Xiaoping clenched his fists, feeling his Grandmaster's energy vibrating, as if a dragon was hibernating in his body. He now knew why a Grandmaster was a humanoid missile. It was equivalent to a small army, and they could fight against countless elite human weapons with their bare hands. They could be called killing machines. With such power, if an ordinary martial artist encountered a Grandmaster, they would not be able to resist at all. With a single punch, he could turn dozens of martial artists into minced meat turning them into dust. Even if a missile landed, as long as they circulated their gang chi, they could withstand it. All the explosive shock waves would be transmitted to the ground, and they would be instantly neutralized. It would not hurt them in the slightest. Even if they advanced to the Grandmaster realm, their speed would be extremely fast. When they controlled their gang chi, their speed would exceed the speed of sound. It was simply impossible for ordinary missiles to track a Grandmaster. It was estimated that if they wanted to kill a Grandmaster, they would need at least thousands of missiles to carry out a blanket and saturated attack. In addition, only warship weapons such as laser cannons, laser guns, energy cannons, and other superstandard weapons could kill a Grandmaster. However, I'm only at the second heaven of the Grandmaster realm. There's still a long way to go before I reach the real Grandmaster peak. Xia Ping clenched his fists, full of fighting spirit. He believed that if he continued to cultivate like this, he would be promoted to the Grandmaster peak sooner or later. Even becoming a king was his real starting point. This was just a transitional period. It stinks. My body really stinks. Are these the impurities eliminated by the Butian pill? It's so smelly. I'd better take a bath. Xiaoping also noticed that his body was as stinky as a beggar's. It was a smell that made him want to vomit. He immediately ran his qigong to temporarily shut off his sense of smell. Otherwise, he would probably faint from the stench. Splash. At this time in the bathroom, Xia Ping stood under a shower. A large amount of water hit him, and the black substance was quickly expelled from the bathroom with the impact of the water and into the sewer. His body had also been cleansed and became clean. At this moment, Xia Ping's body had become extremely perfect, as if every inch of his muscles had been carefully carved. Even the sculpture buildings of ancient Rome were no better than this, in line with the golden ratio. His body's skin was also faintly emitting a white and holy light. It was like a piece of white jade, and his whole body was like glass, seemingly without any impurities. There was even a strange fragrance in the air, which was charming and emitted from Xia Ping's body. Spotless body, Xia Ping immediately knew that after he took the peerless divine pill, Butian pill, his body had evolved into the perfect form of the spotless body. There were no impurities in his body, and his martial arts foundation was extremely solid. Therefore, his body was like white jade, smooth as glass, and emitted bursts of strange fragrance. This was the performance of martial artists who had cultivated their body to a very high level. It was like some Buddhist monks who had condensed the golden Arhat body and had Sarira. Their bodies emitted the smell of Buddhist sandalwood. When they walked, the fragrance of Buddhist sandalwood filled the surrounding thousands of miles. Mortals seemed to be bathed in the glory of Buddha. They immediately surrendered and could not extricate themselves. Getting the Butian pill is the right thing to do. Xia Ping smiled slightly. After cultivating the spotless body, his road to becoming a Grandmaster would be smooth. He did not need to worry about his foundation being damaged and stagnating. Without the Butian pill, he did not know how much time he would have wasted. Chapter 754. Beep. Immediately, Xia Ping called Liang Quan, the supervisor of the giant company. Brother Xia, I didn't expect you to call me. What's the matter? Supervisor Liang Quan quickly picked up the phone and was very enthusiastic. There was nothing he could do. Xia Ping was now an influential figure in the cloud realm. In recent times, there were probably not many people who were more famous than him. After all, there were not many people who dared to auction off the demon race's geniuses in public. Furthermore, he had passed the trial in the celestial demon battlefield and successfully advanced to the master realm. Xia Ping was already a big shot on the same level as him. If he graduated now, he could immediately enter a martial arts force to become a senior and grasp power. He also knew that if he could become a grandmaster at such a young age, the probability of him becoming a king was very high. Right now, he could still stand on the same level as this young man. However, after a period of time, it would be extremely difficult for him to even see this young prodigy. Liang Quan was also very emotional. Although he knew that Xia Ping was not a simple person and would definitely become one of the leaders of the human race in the future, he did not expect him to climb up so quickly. This was beyond his imagination. Xiaoping didn't bother exchanging pleasantries with Liang Quan. He went straight to the point and said, "I want to purchase a super battleship from the giant company." What? Upon hearing this, Liang Quan was greatly shocked. Before, he had only been bragging to Xiaoping about having a battleship that was the crystallization of humanity's most advanced technology. However, it was extremely expensive, and even king tiers would not be willing to buy it for a long time. As for grandmasters, there was no need to even mention them. Now, this brat actually came to buy it. He didn't doubt that Xiaoping could afford it. After all, the auction just now had not ended for long. Those who paid attention to this matter knew that this kid had earned at least 6 trillion federal coins. Just this amount alone was enough to buy a super battleship. No problem. Liang Quan didn't waste any time and said, "However, 5 trillion federal coins is only enough to buy the basic configuration of a super battleship. If you want to carry out modifications and enhance powerful offensive and defensive weapons, I'm afraid you'll have to pay more." Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes lit up. "That's not a problem, but if I want to add a weapon that can kill kings, how much would that cost?" Killing a king. The corner of Liang Quan's mouth twitched. He was speechless as he sighed in his heart. This kid was only at the evolved master realm, and he was already thinking of killing a king realm cultivator? As expected, it was extremely savage. When he had just become a grandmaster, he didn't even dare to think about such a thing. He revered kings as if they were gods. "There is a weapon called the laser cannon." Liang Quan coughed and continued. "Once this high-tech weapon is activated, it will immediately release a ray of death that contains destructive energy. If I fire dozens of death rays consecutively, normal kings will be torn to shreds, and not even their bones will be left. However, if I were to encounter an invincible king, this weapon wouldn't be of much use. After all, a king at that level would be able to resist a nuclear bomb with their bare hands and come out unscathed. They would be like gods." Xiaoping also nodded. He knew that the gap between normal kings and invincible kings was too big. An invincible king could slaughter a group of normal kings. Weapons that could deal with normal kings would not be able to deal with invincible kings. However, invincible kings were as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns in the entire cloud world. To meet such a person, one would have to win the lottery. The probability was too low. It's enough. It's good enough to kill normal kings. Xiaoping didn't care about this. Liang Quan nodded. "If we add this weapon to the battleship's defense, plus the many interior modifications, it might cost another 2 trillion federal coins." His heart twitched as he said this. The basic configuration of a battleship that could travel through space was already worth 5 trillion. With the addition of the many modifications, 2 trillion would be a total of 7 trillion. Even a king would be dumbfounded at this price. Who knew how many years it would take to earn this amount back? Right, there's also the energy. Liang Quan continued. "Every time the battleship is activated to travel through space, it will consume 10 billion federal coins worth of energy. Even the energy used to activate the laser cannon will cost tens of billions. Therefore, the energy consumption of this battleship is probably not a small amount." He looked at Xiaoping cautiously, because even he felt that this number was terrifying. Traversing through the void required 10 billion. If he traveled 10 times, wouldn't it be hundreds of billions? If he took an ordinary spacecraft, according to this price, he would probably vomit and not be able to finish it all. Even if the speed of an ordinary spacecraft was a bit slow, it was not that expensive. Why did kings feel the pinch of buying a super battleship? It was because buying this battleship for several trillion was just the beginning. There were maintenance fees, the cost of one activation, and the cost of operating the weapon system. No matter which one it was, it would be an astronomical amount. This was not a battleship, but a super huge money pit. If an ordinary king bought such a super battleship, they would probably go bankrupt just to maintain this battleship. At that time, they would not need to cultivate anymore. Just the maintenance fees of the battleship would exhaust them. Therefore, an ordinary king would not buy such an expensive toy even if they were beaten to death. It's fine. First, reserve 2 trillion federal coins worth of energy. It's a small amount. Xiaoping was very rich. Since he had bought a super battleship, he naturally knew how shocking the maintenance fees would be. Just like the aircraft carriers on Earth in his previous life, every activation cost tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of dollars. Even if they lay in the harbor without moving, they would still need to spend millions of dollars every month. This was not a superpower, so how could they afford it? Fortunately, he had money. He had cheated many monster kings of 7 trillion federal coins and the whole family of 500 billion. In addition to his previous savings, he had a total of 9 trillion. This money was enough for him to use for a very long time. Moreover, he had 4 king-level peerless secret manuals. If someone wanted to learn them, they would have to spend 10 billion federal coins. If 100 people wanted to learn them, it would be 1 trillion. This was also a money printing machine that could create an endless stream of money. Therefore, he was not short of money at all. Small amount. Hearing this, Liang Quan was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. As a peak grandmaster and the director of the giant company, he had worked hard for decades and only earned a few 100 billion federal coins. This was already considered rich. However, this kid casually took out a few trillion federal coins. He did not treat money as money at all. If Xiaoping was from a king family, it would be fine. However, this kid came from an ordinary background and earned all this money by himself. This made him feel even more depressed. Liang Quan felt that he had lived his life like a dog. Chapter 755. Several days later, Yanwan University's elite district, Xiaoping's villa. Rumble at this moment. A small silver battleship suddenly appeared in the sky. Its body was streamlined, and its outer shell was made of extremely expensive, high molecular materials. Even a Grandmaster's attack wouldn't be able to leave a mark on it. It looked full of sci-fi, like a goddess under the moonlight, emitting a dazzling silver light. Not long after, it directly landed on the flat ground of the villa's vast back garden. They're finally here. Xiaoping received the news and had been waiting in the back garden for a long time. He stared at the flying battleship, his eyes filled with a fiery gaze. With a bang, the battleship's door opened, and 2 people walked out. One of them was the manager, Liang Quan. However, the person in the lead was an old man wearing a white robe. His aura was like an abyss, and when he walked over, he was like a living Tyrannosaurus Rex. His body contained immeasurable energy, causing people to tremble. However, seeing this old man in white, Xiaoping was clearly shocked. Elder Fong. He immediately recognized this old man in white. He was the big boss of the giant company who had recruited him, Fong Ru. He was a king-level super expert, and his strength was unfathomable. Ever since that time, Xiaoping hadn't seen Elder Fong again. He didn't expect to see him again here. Haha, little friend, you didn't expect to see me again here, right? Elder Fong laughed and greeted Xiaoping. His aura was very strong, and it was as if a field had formed with his body as the center. It was enough to distort the air and create illusions. Elder Fong, why are you here? Xiaoping asked curiously. For such a big character to personally come to deliver a super battleship, wasn't this a little too much? It's on the way. The main thing is that I have something to discuss with you. Elder Fong smiled. However, you should inspect the goods first. This is a super battleship that can open wormholes and travel through space. Even among kings, there aren't many who have such a battleship. You struck it big this time. He was very emotional. Before this, he didn't expect Xiaoping to have grown to such a stage and become a grandmaster. Even his wealth was so strong that ordinary kings couldn't compare to him. If it was someone with a powerful background, he could imagine it. However, this kid relied on his own strength to get to where he was, step by step. Every sum of money was earned by himself. Every year, the giant company would recruit many elites. But compared to this brat, they were all trash. You're too kind, Elder Fong. I was just lucky enough to earn some money, Xiaoping said modestly. The corner of Liang Quan's mouth twitched. This wasn't what this brat had said before. He had acted like he was rich and overbearing, treating money like dirt. Now, he was saying that he had left. Damn it, this brat's skin was so thick that there was no end to it. Serve him right for making money. Haha, earning so much money isn't something that can be explained by luck. But let's not talk about that now. Liang Quan, Why don't you explain the abilities of this battleship? Feng Ru said to Liang Quan. Yes. Liang Quan immediately went forward and explained, this battleship is similar to the Radiant God you bought before. It's operated by AI, and it's equipped with the world's top photon computer. There are tens of rooms inside that can accommodate hundreds of people. There's a bathroom, a living room, a gravity training room, a sauna, a movie theater, and so on. As long as you can think of entertainment facilities, it'll be there. Of course, these things are just minor details. The important thing is that this battleship's defense system is also very powerful. It can erect an energy shield that even an elite adept wouldn't be able to break through. Even if hundreds of missiles were to attack it, it wouldn't be damaged at all. At the same time, it can also use ordinary flight mode. Its speed can exceed 30 times the speed of sound and is several times faster than ordinary flying ships. If it can travel through space, its speed will be even faster. At this point, he paused for a moment before continuing. Of course, the most shocking thing about this battleship is its attack system. It's equipped with laser cannons. Once it's activated, its power is boundless and can form a death ray that can even kill kings. Liang Quan was extremely envious. If he could obtain this battleship, there was no place in the world he couldn't go to. He wouldn't even need to be afraid of the threats of those kings. But the price of such a battleship was too shocking. He didn't know how many years it would take before he could afford it. He only wanted to look at it to satisfy his craving. Not bad, not bad. Xiaoping was very satisfied. This battleship had two flight modes. The first was ordinary flight mode. If the distance was too short, it would directly fly. This way it could save energy. The second was space travel. This was suitable for long-distance flight and could save time. Now, as long as you enter and drip a drop of your blood on the battleship, the genetic information of your entire body will be scanned, and this battleship will recognize you as its master. At that time, no matter where you throw it, without your order, no one would be able to use it. Liang Quan indicated that the anti-theft system of this battleship was extremely shocking. It was basically impossible to lose it. Even if others boarded this battleship, without Xiaoping's permission, they wouldn't be able to use it. Xiaoping nodded. He was even more satisfied now. All right. At this moment, Feng Ru spoke. Since you know the general information of this battleship, that's enough. If you want to familiarize yourself with it, you will have plenty of time in the future. Now, let's talk about you being promoted to a core employee of the giant company. Core employee? Xiaoping blinked his eyes as great waves surged in his heart. He knew how great the benefits of becoming a core employee of the giant company were. It was equivalent to having one foot in the upper echelons of the giant company and starting to grasp all sorts of authority. But before this, he was just an official employee. There was still a long way to go before he could become a core employee. Yes, a core employee. Feng Ru smiled. You don't have to worry about anything. Now that you are the champion of the genius competition and have even broken through to the elite adept realm, becoming a core employee of the giant company is only natural. The board of directors has passed this resolution. In order to commend your contributions to the giant company, the company has decided to give you a huge reward. Reward? Xiaoping instantly laughed. What he loved the most were rewards. In any case, as long as he was given money, it would be a good thing no matter what. The first reward is to allow you to unconditionally read the internal martial arts manuals of the giant company. Moreover, all of them are free of charge. You can learn as you please, Feng Ru said. All of them were free of charge. Liang Quan was so jealous that his intestines turned green. For an elite adept like him, even if he became a core employee of the giant company, he would still have to spend a large amount of money to read the internal martial arts manuals of the giant company. But this brat actually gave them free of charge and could even read them unconditionally. This was simply infuriating. The second reward is 10 bottles of Spirit Yuan pills, Feng Ru continued. What? Liang Quan stared at Feng Ru in disbelief. That was because Spirit Yuan pills were pills that elite adepts urgently needed. They contained a boundless amount of medicinal energy, and consuming one would be able to save several months of cultivation time. Chapter 756. Although Liang Quan knew that the giant company regarded Xiaoping highly, He didn't expect it to be so extravagant. It was unknown how much better Xiao Ping's treatment was compared to the other members of the giant company. Even for someone like him who didn't care about fame and fortune, when he heard these rewards, he couldn't help but feel jealous. There's still the third reward, which is the final reward. It's a special treasure, Rui mask. Feng Ru took out a golden mask. It was as thin as a cicada's wings and emitted a faint golden glow. This mask was engraved with complicated and profound inscriptions. Countless lines could be seen, containing a mysterious power. Rui mask. Xiao Ping blinked. He could instinctively sense that this mask wasn't simple. Feng Ru smiled. This mask isn't simple. It's a mysterious treasure dug out from some ruins. Once you wear it, you can change your appearance, body shape, and even your aura. Also, it has a certain degree of defense. What? Xiao Ping was shocked as he stared at the mask. If he could change his appearance, body shape, and aura, wouldn't he be able to instantly transform into a different person? Ordinary human skin masks could change one's appearance, but they couldn't change one's body. They also couldn't change one's aura. It was very easy for experts to track them down. Back then, this mask was stolen once. Feng Ru spoke in a heavy voice. It was stolen by someone with ulterior motives. In the end, he committed hundreds of crimes such as robbery, murder, rape, theft, etc. Relying on this mask, after he committed crimes, no one would be able to track him down. Even his appearance was unknown. He lived a free and unfettered life for tens of years. At the same time, he gained a lot of wealth and lived a life of luxury, becoming a super rich man. In the end, if it wasn't for the Federation police setting up a trap to capture him, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to catch him. Hence, this treasure is extremely important. It must not be stolen by others. He reminded Xiao Ping. Right? Xiao Ping nodded and stretched his hand out to receive the golden mask. At that moment, he felt his aura fusing with the mask. Even his sense of existence became much dimmer. You've really put a lot of thought into this. Liang Quan, who was at the side, sighed ruefully. How could he not tell that the reason why the giant company was willing to give this treasure to Xiao Ping was because they were worried that Xiao Ping would die before he became a king? After all, he had brazenly auctioned off the Demon Clan's Heaven's Pride and had already been blacklisted by the Demon Clan. If he were to let his guard down, he would immediately be killed by the Demon Clan's assassins. In fact, if they left the human territory, the Demon King would personally take action. In order to protect Xiao Ping's life and prevent him from being killed by the Monster King, he took out this treasure. At that time, as long as Xiao Ping was careful and changed his appearance, no matter how cunning the Monster Kings were, they would not be able to kill Xiao Ping and could easily escape. Sure, seeing Xiao Ping accept the compliance mask, Feng Ru smiled. Since you've accepted the reward, it's time to get down to business. Isn't this a serious matter? Xiao Ping said. Feng Ru shook his head. Of course not. Actually, I came here to invite you to one of the cities ruled by the giant company, Giant City. Now, you have the right to contribute to humanity. Giant City? Xiao Ping was shocked. He knew that this city was located in the Endless Sea. It was a super city built on a huge island above the Endless Sea. This city was equivalent to the real headquarters of the giant company. It was also the bridgehead the humans placed in the Endless Sea. It was responsible for resisting the many races in the Endless Sea and faced fierce battles every day. Don't think that the Cloud Realm was very safe just because they had reached a peace agreement with the Demon Clan. In fact, the real threat came from the Endless Sea. Until now, humans did not know how big the sea there was. It was impossible to explore its end. There were many monsters in the depths of the sea, hundreds or even thousands of times more than those on land. If these monsters came out from the depths of the Endless Sea, they would cause endless disasters. Fortunately, these deep-sea monsters were not used to living on land. So, unless something unexpected happened, they would not come to land. Even so, there were still many fish that escaped the net. These sea monsters would attack the human cities and the coastal areas from time to time, causing huge casualties. After advancing to the Grandmaster level, no matter how young one is, he is already a mature warrior. He can fight against many threats from the outside world, Feng Ru said. At this level, he can no longer stay in his nest. He should come out and fight with other races, sharpen his martial arts skills, and forge an invincible path to become a king. He said that if Xia Ping continued to stay in Yanhuang University, his progress would be quite small. After all, humans and the demon clan had reached a peace agreement. Both sides lived in peace. If there were no accidents, the next few decades would be peaceful and there would be no war. Although it was a good thing for most humans, it was not a good thing for grandmasters. If one did not fight with strong enemies and understand the mysteries of martial arts at the moment of life and death, he would not be able to raise his cultivation to a higher realm. As the saying went, born in sorrow, die in peace. Only in a cruel area like the endless sea, where there were wars at every moment, was the best place for grandmasters to sharpen their martial arts. Once they survived, their future was limitless. In fact, most of the human grandmasters went to the endless sea to fight with the Sea Demon Clan and sharpen their martial arts. Although a lot of people had died, those who survived were all elites and powerhouses. Moreover, you've offended many demon kings. If you continue to stay in this place, it will be difficult for you to move an inch. Who knows how many demon assassins won your life? You'll be living in fear all the time. How can you cultivate in peace? Feng Ru said, but the endless sea is different. It is the territory of countless marine races, and the demon clan's forces cannot touch it. You can grow up peacefully in that place. He described the various benefits of going to the City of Giants. Okay, I'll go. Xia Ping clenched his fists, full of fighting spirit. Indeed, as Elder Feng said, if he continued to stay here, he would only be monitored by the demon kings. It was better to leave. If a true dragon stayed in the pond, it would degenerate into a Jiao sooner or later. Its real stage should be the endless sea, which could accommodate such a true dragon. 3 days later, Xia Ping also became a core student of Yanhuang University. After taking care of all his matters, one morning, he secretly piloted the newly obtained warship, Moon God, and left Yanhuang University. His action did not alarm anyone, and it was silent. Boom! Chapter 757. Meanwhile, in the Hua family mansion, many elders of the Hua family were gathered together, and the Hua family patriarch, Hui Yongming, had an extremely gloomy expression on his face. Patriarch, a subordinate came up to report, Xia Ping has already left Yanhuang University. Already left? Hui Yongming couldn't help but clench his fists. Although that brat thought that he had left without a sound, the truth was that he had already sent people to monitor him at all times. Even if it was a fly leaving the villa, they would know it clearly. Patriarch, immediately send someone to kill him. Kill him. An elder of the Hua family roared. He was furious. These days, they had suffered heavy losses because of Xia Ping. The fast food restaurant, which was supposed to be the Hua family's money-printing machine, was now on the verge of closing down because of that kid. Although they had used all kinds of means to settle the matter, they had barely managed to calm it down. However, it was impossible for them to return to their heyday. Their business had also plummeted. One could imagine how much they hated Xia Ping. They simply wanted to burn his bones and scatter his ashes. There's no hurry. Keep an eye on him first. Hui Yongming clenched his fists. Right now, the giant company is paying close attention to him. The guards around him are very strong. It won't be easy to send someone to kill him in a short period of time. Also, this matter is extremely important and cannot be leaked out. If the giant company finds out, our Hua clan will face a calamity. We must be careful. Many elders of the Hua clan felt a chill run down their spines. They knew how terrifying the giant corporation was. If the giant corporation knew that the Hua clan had sent people to kill Xia Ping, they would definitely seek revenge. Even kings had to die. Don't worry, Patriarch. That brat will definitely head to the City of Giants. An elder of the Hua family said through gritted teeth, I've already informed the many members of the Hua family in Giant City to keep an eye on Xia Ping. If anything happens to this kid, we'll report it to you immediately. A cold light flashed in Hui Yongming's eyes. He would never let go of the culprit who caused the Hua clan to suffer so much. He wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible. Of course, he didn't intend to make a move himself this time. Instead, he decided to shift the blame to someone else. As long as this brat's whereabouts were leaked to the Thousand Goblin Mountain, the group of goblin kings who hated Xia Ping to the bone would swarm out. At that time, tearing this brat to shreds would be as easy as flipping one's hand. He didn't need to do anything at all. He could just stay out of it. This way, the giant company wouldn't be able to find a reason to take revenge on him. Just you wait. You actually dare to offend my whole clan. I will make you regret it for the rest of your life. Hui Yongming's killing intent sword. He clenched his fists so tightly that his veins popped out. At this time, Xiaoping's moon god ship had already arrived above the endless sea. This is the endless sea. Xiaoping sat in the cockpit of the moon god ship and looked out at the scenery outside. He suddenly felt that the ocean was boundless and boundless. Any living creature would be incomparably insignificant in such a sea. Dong, a scarlet octopus, emerged from the sea. It was huge, and its tentacles were dancing wildly. Each tentacle was a kilometer long. It was simply a deep-sea monster. Its tentacles were like missiles, hunting in the sea. Monsters were pierced by its tentacles one after another, and a large amount of blood burst out. Then it opened its mouth wide and swallowed them. In just a few breaths, the octopus had swallowed several tons of strange fish. At this moment, an incomparably huge shark emerged from the deep sea. Its body was 2 to 3 kilometers long and was covered in malevolent scales. It revealed its sharp teeth. These teeth were incomparably hard and were even more terrifying than diamonds. With a single bite, it had a bite force of several hundred tons. No matter what it was, it could tear everything into pieces. It was incomparably ferocious and seemed to treat this octopus as its prey. It pounced forward, opened its mouth, and bit towards the body of this octopus. That octopus was caught off guard. Instantly, more than 10 tentacles were bitten off. Fresh blood flowed everywhere as it let out a mournful cry. Its blood dyed the entire sea red. However, this octopus wasn't to be outdone. The tentacles that were bitten off actually rapidly regenerated. They danced wildly in the sea, and the tentacles transformed into spears that instantly pierced through the body of this shark. Roar! 2 deep-sea monsters were fighting. It was an earth-shattering battle. Waves covered the sky and engulfed the earth. The surrounding monsters were all jolted to death. Their bellies flipped over as they floated in the sea. It seemed that every collision would produce a terrifying sound wave. Such fluctuations could be felt within a radius of tens of miles. Huge waves were swept up, enough to overturn an aircraft carrier. However, just as these 2 monsters were fighting, suddenly, in the deep sea, a huge black shadow appeared, covering more than 10 kilometers of the sea. Splash! Suddenly, a whale with a body length of 20 to 30 kilometers emerged from the sea. Its aura was earth-shattering. This octopus and shark were like babies in front of this deep-sea whale. Dong! That deep-sea whale didn't even look at them. It opened its mouth and swallowed. The sea turned into a shocking whirlpool, producing a terrifying suction force. In an instant, that octopus and shark were swallowed by this deep-sea whale like snacks. It didn't even have the intention to chew. After doing all this, it didn't seem to feel that it was anything. It swayed its tail and swam towards the deep sea. At this moment, the sea was dyed red with blood. Countless strange fish had died. In the distance, a group of piranhas swam over quickly and devoured the corpses of these strange fish. Not a single one was left. It seems that this sea is very dangerous. I have to be careful. Xia Ping blinked. He could feel that the strength of these deep-sea monsters was no less than that of a king. Once they went crazy, they could devour and slaughter a coastal city. However, such deep-sea monsters were eaten as snacks by that whale. They didn't even have the ability to struggle. Moreover, there was probably more than one such monster. There were many more of them. No wonder the endless sea had never been conquered. It was full of danger. With such a large number of terrifying monsters, who could conquer this sea? Fortunately, he was flying in the warship, If he was sailing on a sea, he would have been killed by these deep-sea monsters. Let's go to the giant city. Xiaoping quickly recovered and became cautious. He knew that this sea was unprecedentedly dangerous. It was not comparable to any place he had been before. If he was not careful, even a king would die in this place. Whoosh! The moon god flew quickly. In less than 10 minutes, the warship flew to a huge island. This island was extremely large, equivalent to 100 times the size of Yanhuang University. Moreover, there were all kinds of high-rise buildings. It was extremely prosperous. There were countless spaceships in the sky. It was extremely busy. There were also a large number of ships sailing on the sea. People came and went. It was extremely lively. Private spaceships, please come over here. This is the landing place for private spaceships. Please follow the traffic rules. A clear voice sounded in all directions. Under the guidance of the other party, Xiaoping followed a route and landed on the airport of the city. Dong. Chapter 758. What? Xiaoping was taken aback. He didn't expect that a spaceship would lose control and crash into his ship. He could clearly hear the screams of many people around the airport. They didn't dare to watch this dangerous traffic accident, thinking that it will cause a huge disaster. Lost control? No, this isn't losing control. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a cold light because he could see that this black spaceship is heading straight for his moon god. If it was losing control, it would definitely break. The problem is that this black spaceship is different. It has a target. It seems to be aiming at him, planning to collide with his moon god. It's vicious. Interesting. I'll let you crash into me. Let's see what tricks you can play. Xiaoping wasn't worried at all. His moon god is a battleship, a spaceship that cost trillions to buy. Its defense is extremely strong. Even if it were to face hundreds of missiles at the same time, it wouldn't be damaged in the slightest. If he had to make a comparison, it would be that his spaceship is a tank and the other party is a broken bicycle. The other party actually dared to crash into him like this. It's suicidal. In the blink of an eye, the black spaceship crashed into him. Xiaoping also activated the moon god's defense system, immediately setting up a transparent energy shield on the surface of the spaceship. Bang! Suddenly, a huge sound wave shook the surroundings, as if it vibrated thousands of times. The terrifying impact hit the moon god, causing the surrounding air to condense and disperse in all directions. This energy turned into swords, cutting the ground and leaving shocking marks. Many nearby spaceships were cut by this energy, leaving a lot of marks on them. However, the moon god didn't move at all. The terrifying impact was weakened by the defense of the energy shield. In the end, it dissipated between heaven and earth. The black spaceship, on the other hand, was not so lucky. It suffered such a strong impact, and a huge dent immediately appeared on it. With a cracking sound, some of the internal components were destroyed, and the people inside were shaken to the point of disorientation. Even the core engine of the spaceship was overloaded, emitting a lot of smoke as if it was about to explode. The two spaceships stopped on the ground, next to each other. A huge pit appeared on the ground, and thick smoke rose. Obviously, this is a huge traffic accident. Many people saw the situation and surrounded them. At the same time, the airport police also appeared to maintain order. The fire brigade also came to extinguish the flames caused by the spaceship to prevent a fire. Ha! Xiaoping opened the hatch and walked down from the moon god. The hatch of the other party's black private spaceship also opened, and a young man in a white suit appeared. He had oily hair, combed back, and polished leather shoes. His eyes seemed to grow on his forehead, and he didn't look anyone in the eye. He was followed by more than a dozen followers, and, just like that, he walked out of the black private spacecraft. At this time, many curious people also gathered around, wanting to know what was going on. They surrounded the area. Do you have eyes in your head? You actually came crashing down from the sky. Do you want to die? Xiaoping stared at the man in the white suit and immediately questioned him with a stern tone. It's none of your business. The man in the white suit said disdainfully, the sky is so big. I, Huizhen, can go wherever I want. If I kill you, I'll just have to compensate you. That's nothing. He acted like he was rich and didn't care about money at all. Hua Zhen, you're from the Hua family. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and looked at the man in the white suit. The man in the white suit sneered. That's right. I'm from the Hua family. Thanks for your care previously. You caused chaos in the entire Hua family and caused us to suffer huge losses. You have guts. Today, I'm just saying hello. You'd better be careful when you walk in the future. Sooner or later, a car will hit you and kill you. He threatened without the slightest scruple. The reason why he drove the spacecraft over was obviously because he knew that the owner of the spacecraft was Xiaoping. Hua Zhen also remembered the grudge between the Hua family and Xiaoping. Therefore, he immediately gave the order to crash Xiaoping's spacecraft to teach this arrogant kid a lesson. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to take this lying down. Police, did you hear what he said? He's driving with malicious intent. I suggest that we arrest him and lock him up for a few hundred years, Xiaoping said to the police who had rushed over. What? The man in the white suit, Hua Zhen, heard this and his face turned green. This kid was very vicious. He even wanted to call the police to arrest him and lock him up for a few hundred years. He clearly wanted to kill him. If he really succeeded, his life would be completely over. Thinking of this, he hurriedly said, Police, don't listen to this kid's nonsense. I was just joking. This time, it was purely an accident. I absolutely didn't have the slightest intention of murder. He swore to the heavens that it was an accident. After all, an accident and malicious murder were simply two different crimes. Whether it was an accident or not, the police will naturally investigate. However, you violated the traffic law and made a mistake, causing this serious traffic accident. You need to compensate for all the losses, the police said in a deep voice. He expressed that Hua Zhen would take full responsibility. It doesn't matter. This is a small matter. No matter how much it costs, I can afford it. The man in the white suit, Hua Zhen, sneered. Any problem that could be solved with money was not a problem. Moreover, how much money would it cost to repair a private spacecraft? A few hundred million federal coins would be the limit. He felt that it was worth it to spend a few $100 million to disgust this kid and vent the anger of the whole family. Sir, what do you think? The police looked at Xiaoping. Xiaoping said lightly, since he wants to compensate, let him pay. However, I bought insurance for this spacecraft. I'll let the insurance company talk to him. After saying that, he made a phone call and informed the giant insurance company, explaining the details. Not long after, the manager of the giant insurance company and 7 or 8 of his subordinates followed. They wore black suits and had serious expressions. There was no other way because this matter was very serious. It was a super battleship that was hit. In the insurance company, it was considered a super huge amount of compensation. They had no choice but to be cautious. Well, I've heard the details from Mr. Xia. The result is obvious. You are fully responsible. The insurance manager's tone was very serious. This is the compensation amount. I hope you will pay as soon as possible. Otherwise, we will send you a lawyer's letter. After saying that, he sent an electronic document to Hua Zhen. Chapter 759, 70 billion. Hearing this number, the group of onlookers was so scared that their eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. Hua Zhen wasn't the only one who was completely shocked. Everyone present was shocked. If they had to pay 70 billion federal dollars, they might as well just buy a new spaceship. After all, the top private spaceship, the Luminous God, was only worth 40 to 50 billion federal dollars. But now, they had to pay 70 billion just for a collision. If this wasn't robbery, then what was? Blackmail. This is clearly blackmail. Hua Zhen couldn't help but scream. This kid wants to work with the insurance company to extort money from me. How brazen. How dare he do this? Police, you see how vile their behavior is. They're simply defying the law and the police. They don't care about you at all. He immediately put a few labels on Xiaoping for contempt of the law. Don't show off here if you don't have money, Xiaoping said disdainfully. Didn't you say that no matter how much money you have, you can afford it? Are you still a descendant of the Hua family with such a small amount of money? Bullsh asterisk T. Hua Zhen cursed. 70 billion, that's a whole 70 billion. Do you think it's $700? Even a grandmaster would vomit blood if he lost 70 billion. Do you think this is a small amount? The Hua family is rich, but you can't scam us like this. Do you think the whole family is your ATM? You could just enter a few passwords and take away a bunch of money? Let me tell you, there's no way you can scam me. Police, hurry up and arrest these scammers and lock them up for a few decades. Huajun was so angry that his nose was crooked. This was the first time in his life that he had met such a bastard. He casually bumped into this guy's spaceship, and now he had to pay 70 billion. Was there such a logic in this world? Sir, please explain. Are you really trying to extort money from me? You should know that this is a very serious violation of the law. The police looked at Xia Ping and the insurance manager very seriously. The insurance manager immediately said, Sir, this is not blackmail. It's a compensation amount that was calculated after a series of rigorous calculations. Even if we go to court, we can still win the case. He expressed that he was not blackmailing them. Win your ass. Huajun was infuriated. Do you think we're stupid? Do you think we'll believe you just because you said a few words? Just a touch, and the skin didn't even break. Yet you want me to compensate you 70 billion? You still say this is a meticulous plan? Why don't you just die? He had finally seen what it meant to be a thick-skinned person. This was the kind of person who would lie through their teeth. Even if they were trying to blackmail someone, they shouldn't be like this. Mr. Hua, perhaps you still don't know what you hit. The insurance manager said solemnly, This is no ordinary private spaceship, but a super battleship, the culmination of human technology. Its cost is 7 trillion federal coins. What? When the people around heard these words, their faces turned green and they were scared half to death. Such a spaceship looked ordinary on the outside, but the construction cost was as high as 7 trillion federal coins. Huajun's mind went blank from the shock. Such a super battleship was actually hit by your spaceship. It needs to be repaired. The insurance manager said solemnly, The cost of a single repair is as high as 50 billion federal coins. To replace some of the damaged parts, it will cost about 20 billion federal coins. Fortunately, your spaceship isn't very powerful and didn't cause any damage to this battleship. If there was even a little bit of damage, the price might not be this high. It's even possible to compensate 700 billion. What the hell? Hearing this, the people around were scared out of their wits. If there was even a little damage, they would have to compensate 700 billion federal coins. How is this a spaceship? It was clearly a hedgehog. Whoever touched it would have to go bankrupt. If this kid didn't like anyone and just rubbed this spaceship against someone else's spaceship, the other party would probably lose their pants and have to work for him for the rest of their lives. Immediately, many people were so scared that they took a dozen steps back. They were afraid that if they scratched the spaceship, they would have to pay hundreds of millions. This was a sum that ordinary people would have to pay for the rest of their lives. This was just like on Earth in his previous life. The sports cars driven by the super rich were worth tens of millions. Those sports cars were delicate and expensive, and changing a tire would cost hundreds of thousands. Even the slightest scratch would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair. Ordinary people wouldn't dare to touch these super sports cars. Bang! Huajun was so scared that he collapsed to the ground. His face was pale, and he cried miserably, Mr. Xia, spare me this time. I didn't do it on purpose. I really didn't do it on purpose. 70 billion is really too much. I can't afford it. He was so scared that he peed his pants. If it was a few hundred million, he could casually take it out, but 70 billion was too frightening. If he really took it out, he would have to go bankrupt. The 7 or 8 lackeys behind him were also scared half to death. They knew that their young master had gotten into trouble this time. It was really big trouble. They originally thought that this was a good opportunity to teach that kid a lesson, but who would have thought that before he could even show off, he would be scared to this extent? Now, it was even possible that he would go bankrupt. But who would have thought that the spaceship this kid was driving was simply a hedgehog? It couldn't be touched at all. One touch would make him go bankrupt. If he had known that the cost of the spaceship was so terrifying, he wouldn't have done such a thing even if he was beaten to death. This has nothing to do with me. I have already given full authority to the insurance company to handle this matter. You can discuss it with them yourself. Xia Ping said indifferently, indicating that this had nothing to do with him. Discuss with the insurance company? Discuss my ass. Huijin knew that if he wasn't the one paying, it would be the insurance company. It was conceivable that the insurance company would never let him pay so much money. They would definitely find trouble with him. Mr. Xia, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Spare me this time. Just spare me this time. In the future, I will definitely not go against you. When I see you, I will turn around and leave, avoiding you. Hua Zhen cried like a child. He was so scared by the compensation of 70 billion that he collapsed. His legs went soft, and he was paralyzed on the ground. If his father knew that he had to pay 70 billion, he would probably break his legs. Forgive you? You are the person who wanted to kill me with your car. If I forgive you, who will forgive me when the time comes? It's fine if you don't pay. Just wait to go to jail. Xiaoping couldn't be bothered with a clown like Hua Zhen. He turned around and left. No, no, no. Don't go, don't go. Hua Zhen screamed in despair. Mr. Hua, let's talk about the compensation. If the money is not enough, you can mortgage your spaceship, your house, your stocks, and your company. The insurance manager stepped forward and blocked Hua Zhen. He smiled and thought of all kinds of ways to snatch money. Chapter 760. Seeing Xiaoping quickly leave the airport, the crowd was in an uproar. Looking at the fainted Hua Zhen, they all felt pity for him. Tragic, this is too tragic. He's a descendant of the Hua family, the descendant of a king. I didn't expect him to be so scared. There's nothing we can do about it. 70 billion, that's 70 billion. Even the descendant of a king can't take out so much in such a short time. How could he not be scared? If it was an ordinary person, he would have been scared to death. His parents, wife, and children would have broken up with him. At first, this brat was still acting cool here, saying that it didn't matter how much he had to pay. Now, he has to pay 70 billion. He's not scared to death. Who would have thought that this ship would be so terrifying? Who can afford it? It costs 7 billion. I've learned something today. We can't touch this ship. We'll go bankrupt if we touch it. The surrounding people were all shocked. They were incomparably afraid of this moon god ship. If they ended up like Hua Zhen, the scene would be unimaginable. They probably even had the heart to die. This news quickly spread to the Hua family, instantly causing the anger of countless elders. This brat is simply trying to scam us. He wants our Hua family to pay 70 billion. Why doesn't he just rob a bank? One of the elders cursed. He was practically going crazy. Previously, Xiaoping had scammed them of 500 billion. This matter wasn't over yet. Now, they had to pay 70 billion. That brat is simply treating our Hua family as an ATM. He can come and take money whenever he wants. This is ridiculous. We definitely can't interfere in this matter. We can't compensate. That's right, that's right. Why should we compensate him? 70 billion just for a bit? Why can't he just go to heaven? A few elders of the Hua family gritted their teeth. When they heard this news, they were so shocked that they jumped up on the spot. This brat had scammed them of yet another sum of money. Who could accept this? What do we do if we don't compensate? We have witnesses and material evidence. Moreover, the giant insurance company has sent a lawyer's letter asking for compensation. An elder said helplessly, "Now, it's not Xiaoping asking for compensation. It's the giant insurance company asking for compensation. It can be said that this matter has nothing to do with Xiaoping. The insurance company will handle it. Without a doubt, once we go to court, there will be witnesses and material evidence. We will definitely lose. We might even resist stubbornly and be unwilling to admit our guilt. Who knows? We might even get more compensation." He indicated that the matter would not be so easily settled. Damn it. How did that brat buy such a terrifying spaceship? He just cheated a few demon kings out of 7 trillion federal coins. Of course he has money. That's a super battleship we're talking about. The cost is terrifying. Even the Hua family can't afford it. How can this kid be willing to? It's said that there are terrifying laser cannons installed on it that can even kill kings. This brat is very afraid of death, so of course he's fully equipped. What a lucky bastard. With this super battleship, who can kill him? He can do whatever he wants in the sky realm. Many of the Hua family's elders were green with envy. They had worked so hard for so many years, yet they could not even afford a fraction of a warship. Now this kid had casually obtained one. It was truly infuriating to compare oneself with others. The Hua family's patriarch, Hua Yongming, shivered as he secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, He had not impulsively gone to find trouble with Xiaoping. Otherwise, if he had encountered such a warship, he would have been blasted to death on the spot. At that time, he would have died in vain. In short, we have no choice but to compensate for this. If this matter continues to blow up, the Hua family's reputation will be tarnished. No matter what, we have to minimize the impact of this matter, Hui Yongming said in a low voice. Since they could not win a lawsuit, they might as well admit defeat and compensate. If they continued to stubbornly resist, it would only make the situation ugly and they would not be able to extricate themselves. I'm sorry, elders. This matter is my son's fault. Huazhen's father looked ashamed. I've already broken both his legs and told him to reflect at home. He actually did such a stupid thing and was discovered by so many people. It's hard to hide it. There's nothing we can do. Young people are always young and impetuous. That's right. If I were to see that kid, I would probably not be able to control my anger. No matter what, Huazhen is a member of the Hua family. He cannot be sent to prison. A few of the Hua family's elders said in a low voice. They were very helpless. This was simply an undeserved disaster. They had to compensate 70 billion just for a small incident. Anyone who encountered such a situation would vomit blood. Xiaoping, the Hua family, and you are absolutely irreconcilable. Hui Yongming gritted his teeth. His hatred for Xiaoping was even deeper. It could be said that every member of the Hua family wanted to bite this be starred. How much did this kid want to bully them? At this time, Xiaoping had just left the airport when he was greeted by 15 men in tuxedos. The leader was a middle-aged man with a scar on his face. He exuded a strong aura. He was an expert at the peak of the Grandmaster stage. The other men in tuxedos were also experts at the Grandmaster stage. Young Master Xia, the man with the scar, stepped forward and said respectfully, "We are the people sent by the giant company to welcome you. My name is Feng Wanliang. At the same time, I am also young Master Xia's personal bodyguard." What? Although Xiaoping had long known that being a core member of the giant company would give him many privileges, he did not expect that they would send a group of bodyguards at the Grandmaster stage casually. However, he was also a person who had been through a lot and was already used to this kind of thing. He said, "All right, now what should we do next? Young Master, please follow me." The man with the scar said in a deep voice, "The giant company has already arranged a place for young Master to stay in the giant city. It is a villa in the inner city." The area of the giant city was huge, but it was also divided into the outer city and the inner city. The outer city occupied more than 90% of the area, while the inner city only occupied 10% of the area. The problem was that the inner city was the core area of the giant city. Its defense was very strong. Even if a king realm cultivator tried to barge in, they would be killed by the defense system. That was the true wealthy district. Every house in the inner city was priceless. Unless one was a king realm cultivator, they wouldn't be able to afford it. As for the villa, only the higher-ups of the giant company could live in it. Others couldn't buy it, even if they had the money. The group of bodyguards at the side looked at Xiaoping with envy. Although Xiaoping was not a higher-up of the giant company, his status was similar to the higher-ups. It could be said that with such a talent, becoming a king realm cultivator was a sure thing. "All right, let's go then." Xiaoping nodded. After that, he followed the butler Feng Wanliang into a hover car beside the airport and sped along the way. Along the way, they passed by many luxurious high-rise buildings. Finally, they entered the deepest part of the island and came to a place where birds sang and flowers bloomed. There were many luxurious villas built everywhere. Chapter 761. Young Master. As soon as Xiaoping entered the villa, he immediately saw 2 rows of beautiful maids standing on both sides of the villa's hall. There were more than 10 to 20 of them in each row. Each of them was dressed in maid attire, showing off their impressive figures. They all looked like they were ready to be picked by Xiaoping. It seemed that if Xiaoping wanted to push them down and play all kinds of unspoken rules, they wouldn't have any resistance. This was simply a life of luxury. It was too corrupt. Xiaoping secretly criticized in his heart. He felt very emotional. This was clearly eroding his outstanding willpower, but he could withstand it. Young Master. The butler Feng Wanliang introduced. These maids will be responsible for taking care of young master's daily life. They're also responsible for cleaning the place, taking care of the garden, cooking in the kitchen, and so on. Please rest assured, these are all maids that have been carefully selected. They are definitely of superb standard. As for us bodyguards, we are responsible for the security of the villa surroundings, in case some thieves invade. He introduced these maids to Xiaoping. Huh, isn't this Suji? Xiaoping was unscrupulously sizing up these beautiful maids, paying attention to all kinds of important parts. Soon, he found a great beauty that stood out from the crowd. Even though she was also wearing a maid attire, this great beauty still exuded an otherworldly temperament. Her figure was simply arrogant. Her legs were astonishingly straight, and her waist was slender. She exuded endless charm from head to toe, making it impossible for people to ignore her. But he also knew this great beauty. It was Suji. He didn't expect that this little girl didn't stay in Yanhuang University. Instead, she followed him to the giant city and even came to his villa to be a maid. This was far beyond his expectations. Young master also knows this chief maid? What a coincidence! Feng Wanliang immediately praised. This chief maid is proficient in 18 languages. She knows all kinds of household chores. At the same time, she's also familiar with federal laws and knows all kinds of commercial articles. She's also good at politics. Even her martial arts cultivation is extremely outstanding. She is only 18 years old, and she is already at the 4th layer of martial master. Her talent is amazing. Most importantly, she asks for a low salary. She is a rare maid secretary. He was incomparably moved. Such an outstanding woman would be a heaven's pride no matter where she was placed. Moreover, she was exceptionally beautiful, but such a woman was actually willing to become a maid. It was simply inconceivable. Xiaoping faintly smiled. Su Ji is a direct descendant of the Su family. Since childhood, she has received an elite education, learned countless knowledge, and was admitted to Yanhuang University. She is an absolutely talented woman with an IQ that is off the charts. No matter what era she was in, she was definitely a strong woman. It would be strange if she wasn't powerful. What are you doing here? Don't tell me you want to seduce me. Xiaoping curiously asked, looking at Su Ji. Su Ji's pretty face suddenly turned red, very angry. Who wants to seduce you this? This is all forced. If you dare to touch me, I will fight with you. She clenched her fists. If Xiaoping dared to touch her, she would fight to the death with this shameless man. In fact, in the past few days, Su Ji never thought that such a thing would happen. Even if you beat her to death, she never thought that she, the dignified Miss Su, would actually become this beast maid. However, she received an order from her family's elder, asking her to be Xiaoping's maid. If there was an opportunity, she would capture this outstanding man and make him the Su family's son-in-law. After all, everyone knew that Xiaoping's future was boundless. In the future, he would definitely become a king, and even had the opportunity to become an invincible king. If she could capture such a wealthy son-in-law, it would simply be a small capital with great profits. No stock could be more profitable than this. If the Su family had an invincible king's son-in-law as a backer, the Su family could simply walk unhindered in the Cloud Realm. Who would dare to provoke them? In fact, their family also relied on this to develop and strengthen. Relying on the Su family's daughter, they continuously married with the outside world. With a lot of help, they developed into a super family that no one dared to provoke. Obviously, they now had their eyes on this outstanding potential stock, Xiaoping, so they sent Su Ji to get close to Xiaoping. As the saying goes, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. In this world, was there anything better than a maid that could get closer to the master? The two of them were together day and night. After a long time, they would develop feelings for each other. In fact, the maids who came into this villa were all beautiful like flowers. Their appearance was several levels higher than ordinary maids. They were actually the outstanding descendants sent by the big families. Their purpose was the same as Su Ji's. They wanted to rely on the identity of a maid to have a relationship beyond friendship with their master, Xiaoping. At the same time, they could obtain his bloodline and have outstanding descendants. Forced? Who can force the Su family's eldest daughter? Xiaoping blinked his eyes. Thinking about this, Su Ji became even angrier. She was so angry that her chest was stuffy. The number of people who could force her in this world could be counted on one's fingers. Among them were the Su family's elders and her parents. She remembered a few days ago in the Su family's mansion. She received an urgent call and went back to the Su family. Unexpectedly, when her mother saw her, the first sentence she said was sincere and heartfelt. Su Ji, you're not young anymore. It's time for you to get married. I think that Xia Ping, who has a scandal with you, is not bad. He's a very good young man. His martial arts aptitude is simply monstrous. Becoming a king is a sure thing. You have to grab this rich husband and don't let him go. This is a good stock that can be held for a long time. These words immediately made Su Ji angry. She immediately refused. No, that guy is a beast. He also has one foot in several boats. He likes to put on a green hat for women. He's extremely hateful. It's okay. In the beginning, your father was also an animal. But after he followed me, he was subdued. Now he's very well behaved. If I tell him to go east, he won't go west. If I tell him to drink tea, he won't dare to drink wine. Su Ji's mother showed her husband taming skills. Su Ji weakly said, I'm only 18. I'm still young. I don't think about this kind of thing. You're not young anymore. You're already 18 years old. You're already mature. When your mother was your age, she already gave birth to your sister. Su Ji's mother argued with reason and evidence, making Su Ji speechless. Su Ji immediately used her sister as an excuse. But isn't my sister, Su Mei, not married? If my sister doesn't marry, how can my sister dare to marry? This is not in line with the rules. Don't mention your sister. Su Ji's mother angrily said, don't learn from the good. Learn from the bad. She's a negative teaching material, a very bad example. I don't know how many girls in the family have been led astray by her. They all began to marry late and have children late. She's already 27 or 28, yet she's still not married. In a few years, she'll be an old leftover woman. All she does is practice martial arts until she's crazy. She can't even learn the ability to hook a rich man. You tell me, what's the use of growing up like this? The most annoying thing is she actually wants to be promoted to a king. My God, just the fact that she became a grandmaster scared off a lot of outstanding boys. If she becomes a king, which young man would dare to marry her? Don't tell me she'll marry those old kings. I'm telling you, Su Ji, don't ever learn from your sister. You must learn from her. Chapter 762. Hearing these words, Su Ji went mad with anger. Becoming a king was a glorious thing. Regardless of status, it would be greatly improved and everyone would respect you. However, her mother actually thought that her sister becoming a king was a very bad thing. She thought that it would hinder her sister's marriage and make her a leftover woman. However, she also had to admit that her mother's worries were indeed right. Once Su Mei became a king, her status would greatly improve. Even some outstanding men from the king's family would shrink back and would not dare to marry Su Mei. After all, the gap between the two sides was too big. If you don't become a king, you'll still be an ant. This gap was not the gap between the poor and the rich, but the gap between a monkey and a human. It was the difference in the essence of life. It could not be mentioned in the same breath. It could be imagined that once her sister advanced to the king realm, it was estimated that there would not be many men who would dare to propose marriage. Therefore, her mother was deeply worried that Su Mei would become a leftover woman and would not have any luck with men. Therefore, with her sister as a negative example, she, as the younger sister, was under great pressure. She was afraid that she would follow in her sister's footsteps and start to force marriage at the age of 18. By the way, according to reliable information, this time Xia Ping will go to the giant city. He will live there for a long time. Su Ji's mother said, you will go with him and become his personal maid. As the saying goes, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. If you become his maid, you will be with him day and night. After a long time, you will develop feelings for him. Of course, don't always be ambiguous. You have to take the last step and create an opportunity. When the rice is cooked, he won't be able to run away. If this kid is a blockhead and doesn't know how to have fun, you will have to drug him. She gave Suji a lot of ideas. Block at my ass. Suji was so angry that she cried. If she really dared to come to his door, she was sure that this beast would eat her up. How is he a blockhead? When that bastard acts like a beast, he is not a human at all. Moreover, her mother wanted her to drug that shameless man and cook the rice. Isn't this clearly pushing her into the fire pit? She really wants me to get married. However, I've also received some news. It's not just our Sioux clan's women who have taken a fancy to that brat. Many king's clans also wish for him to become their son-in-law. They've sent many of their female servants to become servants, having the same idea as our Sioux clan. Mother Sioux said warily, "You must be careful not to let other women do it. You have a kind nature, but other women are different. They are ferocious tigers, the kind that can eat men whole. If there's a chance, they won't mind drugging you." She reminded Suji that this time she has a lot of competitors. Suji was so angry that she almost died. She really couldn't understand. That guy's just a beast. How come so many women are like moths to a flame? Don't they know how hateful this guy is? That's right. It must be because those women haven't seen through this bastard's true nature. That's why they're so willing. Furthermore, it's not like you won't get any benefits from going to the City of Giants. Now that you've become an elite student and advanced to the fourth firmament of a martial master, your progress shouldn't be that great if you stay in school. Mother Sioux continued to tempt her. If you go to the City of Giants, that place is full of grandmasters, kings, and resources. Presumably, you can get a lot of growth there. This doesn't conflict with your cultivation plan, and you can also hook up with men, killing two birds with one stone. She blinked her eyes and looked at her daughter. Mom, I know I'll go, okay? Suji knew that her mother was going to force herself on her. Even if she didn't agree, she would still force her to do it. However, although she was going to be his slave, it didn't necessarily mean that she would have any relationship with that shameless man. She could completely do business, wait for a period of time, and then spread some false news saying that the guy didn't like her. At that time, this matter would naturally end, and she could also take the opportunity to get some benefits. Therefore, Suji was sent to Xia Ping's villa to be a maid, and by virtue of her own outstanding ability, she smoothly became the head maid. Forget it. I'm not interested in how you came to be, Xia Ping said carelessly. In short, you'll be my maid from now on. In the future, you have to do things seriously, otherwise you'll be punished, understand? He looked as if he was up to no good. Punishment? Hearing this, Suji's face turned pale. She remembered all kinds of master's punishments for maids, all kinds of training. It was clear that he wanted to do a lot of shameless things to her. No, I absolutely can't let this bad guy find an excuse to punish me. Yes, yes, master. Suji's pretty face turned red. She had never called a man like this in her life. This was the first time. It was simply a public execution. But as a maid, she can't do anything disrespectful to her master. Otherwise, she would definitely be punished. Very good. Xiaoping was very satisfied. To let a delicate beauty call him like this, he estimated that even the ancient emperor was no better. Young master. At this time, the butler Feng Wanliang opened his mouth and said, "From now on, this villa belongs to young master. This is the key to this villa. Now that young master's genetic information has been input, no one can touch this villa's defense system except young master." He took out a golden key and handed it to Xiaoping. Xiaoping took it and looked at it. He didn't know what material it was made of, but it seemed to contain a mysterious energy. Feng Wanliang didn't stop and continued. If you encounter any danger, as long as young master wills it, this AI defense system will immediately transform into a ball of energy and instantly teleport young master to a safe place. You can even use the energy of the defense system to trap and kill the enemy. He showed off the villa's powerful defense system, indicating that even if a king-level expert wanted to invade, it would be impossible. Once discovered by the defense system, the enemy would be dead for sure and would be directly killed. So powerful, Xiaoping praised. With a thought, he could teleport away. This kind of energy utilization technology was simply amazing. It was similar to the technology of Yinhuang University and Combat City. The defense system was even more powerful. After all, this was the endless sea, and one had to fight against tyrannical monsters that appeared from the deep sea. Without enough power, how could one survive? It was no wonder that these villas in the giant city were priceless and couldn't be bought with money. With this kind of defense, even king-level experts would fight for it. Why would they give it to others? If he wasn't a core member of the giant company and had a bright future, he probably wouldn't be able to get it. Okay, I'm going to rest. If there's anything, I'll call you guys. Xiaoping stretched. He rushed here from Yinhuang University and was a bit tired, so he wanted to rest for a while.